Previously.
1, 2, 3.
X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
Fancy a trip to the junkyard?
Welcome to the Junkyard. X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. I am one of your hosts.
Our village idiot.
Look, I'm never shaking that, so that's fine. And with me, as always, I'm your host, Skelderman, and with me is my co-host, as always.
It imitates life.
That's pretty close.
It imitates life. Victor Vondre Doom. And we have another guest with us here. Return guest. One of the great ex-goons of our legions here.
You would say of our time. One of the best ex-goons of our time.
That too.
Mm-hmm.
He's descended of every sentinel from Master Mold to Nimrod.
Ooh. He's high tech. Danbit's back. How's it going, Danbit? Oh,
it seems to be it's going pretty good. Sorry, the sirens are still happening outside.
Danbit lives in New York, as we know from his previous appearances, and you know what? New York has crime. So here we are.
Only New York. Only New York has crime. Yeah, exactly. Nowhere else in the world has crime.
But we have a special surprise for our ex-goons and Danbit, because I didn't tell him either. George Booze is here.
Hey!
Oh my gosh, George!
Oh my stars and garters!
Oh my!
Right now.
Thanks for joining us, George.
My pleasure. At least I got to see the end of FBI.
You're seeing it happen inside of Danbit's apartment right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you hear it, George? It's literally.
I know. We're going to be there in the beginning of June, I think. We're doing Brooklyn.
Oh, so I'll be doing Brooklyn too, so I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they settle all that crime stuff before you get there.
Oh, yeah. They know the X-Men are coming. They're all going to run for the hills.
Or they're going to expect you guys to take care of it. Yeah, exactly. So, George, this show is perfection, I must say. And
isn't it killer?
Oh, my God.
It's so insanely good. It's insanely good, dude. I don't think all the people, voice actors we talked to that gave us like tiny hints about what was coming. You guys were all really good about not telling us too much, because my God, this show is good. It's amazing.
Yeah, I just binged watched the last 5 episodes.
Oh man!
Oh wow!
You got some primo stuff in that last episode, the one with Toby.
Yeah.
Toby,
Well, we're gonna have we got one more that's dropping tomorrow, and then there's going to be a little party via Zoom for the cast and producers next Wednesday.
Oh, awesome!
Because that'll be the finale for season 1.
Yes, that's very exciting. So was 2? Because 2 is done too as well, isn't it?
It's in the bag. It's just I think they're still going to be polishing it. I don't know how much.
Awesome. So there's
always going to be some sort of recall on it, and they switch things around.
So when we spoke with you last, you did happen to mention that it felt like, when you were reading the scripts, it felt like the old series, and it very much a continuation of that feel. But did you expect this kind of reception from, did you think it was?
Well, I knew it was building up to it. We could tell by doing the shows that there was going to be quite a splash when the show hit. Again, we're not really aware of how much there is, because everybody's kind of isolated. We've got the shows, which we see have increased, and people coming to visit us and wanting to talk, and the excitement. But still, there hasn't been like a huge thing happening. I don't know how to describe it. It's just we're more aware that the show is reaching people than we were in 91 through 96. That's for sure.
You got the internet now to help you.
We have the internet now, which we didn't before. So now we know that we're reaching people. And I'll tell you, the shows, binge watching it, it's even harder hitting than it was back in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's addressing very specific points that you can draw parallels to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we
I
talked
wonder-
about that in the show. Significant.
I wonder if the MAGA crowd knows that they're the Prime Sentinels. Do you think they can tell on that? That was pretty clear in this episode.
Well, they're the people that lose all irony on that, right? They're the people that would be like, oh, they're just making it political, or they would think it represents something else that's the other side. People
Well,
think it's-
the thing is that you can't really make light of it because it's a very serious thing,
Yeah.
and it will affect everybody on the planet, literally.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Well, even the
depending
parallel-
on what happens, and it's one of the more scary things. It's like reading the apocalypse
Yeah.
in many ways.
Here, yep, exactly. Here in the U.S., yeah, for sure. Like,
Well, it's going to be everywhere. It doesn't.
oh, it's
matter where
everywhere.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, even the show, like we've talked at length on the show here about how DeMaio has said that he wanted the show to kind of grow up with us. So like as kids growing up and then hitting like 9/11 and all those big things that sort of changed the world for us, he wanted to inject that into the show so that the characters go through the progression we all did. So like episode 5 really sort of hammered that home and
Yeah.
and really like reminded us all that we all grew up in a pretty crazy time, and to be reminded of that and see the characters that we thought escaped all that because we left them behind in the past get to have to go through it as well to join us in this dark world we live in.
Yeah.
It was crazy good.
That line you have, George, I think it was this episode about with Trish Tilby, and he's like, I wouldn't want to waste any more of your tolerance, Miss Tilby.
Yes.
That's such a good line. And what I really appreciated about that line as well is that seemed to be the first time in this series where you can tell it in the inflections that you used, where Beast is suggesting that tolerance isn't a virtue, which I agree
Well,
with.
in
It's
episode
not. That's what
5,
you
he
use.
comes to question the whole coexistence
Yeah.
of whether the professor was right or whether Magneto was right.
Which is so good
And that's,
because
for him to doubt what he's been espousing after all those years is a very serious thing.
of all the characters
It's
to
a turning
doubt.
point, and everybody's got a turning point. When they see the destruction of Genosha, it's
I cried.
me too.
Yeah, there was some heavy. This show has made me
And
cry
again,
almost
you know,
every episode.
I was shook for a week.
It's the world that we
Yeah.
live in. It's
Yeah,
happening
yeah.
everywhere.
That's probably part of the emotional resonance that it's having too. It's all just so. It's this series that takes place in 1997, but it's very much speaking to 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
100%. And the fact that Beast was like the voice work was amazing, and that whole speech was amazing, and like the whole speech to come from Beast, because his character has always been a hopeful one and always been one to hold out. And I don't think I've ever heard the character be that angry in any episode before, even when he was treated very poorly by humans and on trial and everything else. So
yeah, they put him in jail, and he's just like, "Hi, I'm in jail." reading a
yeah,
book."
I know.
Well, but the destruction of an entire community is a whole other matter.
Yeah, it's
It's not
fantastic.
just sitting in jail waiting to
No.
speak your mind in court. It's the wipeout of an entire civilization.
Yeah.
That is genocide.
It's some amazing stuff, and I just the
Yeah,
show has gone into some crazy
and yet
places.
It's like watching a movie, and you forget the fact that you're watching an animated series.
Mhm.
It becomes very, very real, and you forget
for
the
fans-
fact that you're watching people with superpowers because you're dealing with everyday issues.
Well, some of us, and probably the three of us actually here right now, people with superpowers are real.
Up here,
I'm more emotionally
Well,
wrapped up in like.
We have to suspend our disbelief as well. But
Yeah.
the point is that superpowers really wouldn't help.
no. Well, that's why X-Men is such a beautiful allegory for so many things. Like that whole speech that your character gives when he's talking to Trish, which I think was last episode, Devin, because this is the one where
Oh yeah, Trish comes back in this episode.
Yeah, she does to
each
try
other.
to make up to him, and then things go south. But pretty hard. But the idea of that, like that whole speech about like we're like maybe begging for your tolerance, it was the way like any marginalized group could fit into that. You know, and not just mutants in this particular context. Like you could take anybody from, you know, any minority to any sexual orientation that feels like they're being, you know, treated poorly by the society at large. They could fit right into that context, and it would make perfect sense and sound absolutely right. So it's so wonderful.
Hanif makes a good point there. You do have to be a prick to piss off someone who plays Mr. Rogers. And I love that Mr. Rogers quote.
Yes, that was lovely. The fact that Beast's a Mr. Rogers fan is right on cue.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
So
he's our neighbor.
isn't he, though?
Won't you be his?
Yes.
Won't you be? Yeah. So how do you feel about where Beast is going this season?
Well, Beast is very steady. You know, it's he's fulfilling his purpose, and I'm hoping that there will be some interesting things for Beast to do. But for the duration of what I've done so far, you know, in season 1, Beast is being Beast, and it's
kind of the heart of the team.
Yeah,
the rock of
he's
the
the
team.
brains of the team as well. He comes up with a lot of the solutions, and he serves his purpose. And you know, it's taken a slightly different tack, focusing on different characters, and there's some new characters. And the old ones are still pulling their weight and doing what they do best.
Yeah, I've noticed that about the season. It seems as though they've tried to make like an overarching story instead of doing really too many super character folks. I mean, obviously Cyclops and Jean get forefront for most of the season.
Storm has a character focus.
And Storm as well.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping
as is Rogue.
Yes.
You know, everybody eventually in the series arc gets their story and gets to tell their version of things. And
oh, good. Well, we have a couple more.
We're waiting
to go.
for Beast.
Hopefully there will be some exciting things to do.
Yeah, Beast and Wolverine are the two that don't seem to have taken too much of a forefront, and Morph, I guess, too. But Morph's still sort of new as an ongoing member of the team.
But I feel like when Beast jumps in and provides that level of knowledge, he also provides a little bit of compassion for whatever is going on, which is so nice to see. Where he's like,
And humor.
Humor, right?
Yeah,
Humor and
humor.
compassion. Like, here you go. This is what's going on, and here's what makes us the X-Men, and being thoughtful of what's going on around us. So, yeah, really cool to see.
You know, every actor wants to be the focus of the story, but you're also serving your utility, your purpose.
Which
You know,
for
and
Beast
not
is
everything is
rebuilding
about you.
Blackbirds.
And
that
as long as you're
Scott
helping to
destroys.
tell the story and getting the reactions that you want, you know, it's still a very fulfilling thing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's great.
Very cool.
It's just
And go ahead, Dan.
Well, I know you can't say anything, but do you think season 2 keeps up with how great season 1 was?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was just as interested in reading the scripts week to week, or not week to week. It's been a little bit longer. That's a euphemism. You know, sometimes there's months between recording sessions as they finish the scripts. But I could hardly wait to read where it was going and see the next episode. So yeah, it's kept up very, very well, and I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed in season 2.
Awesome. Has it been fun? Since you've been doing a few of the conventions, have you done many since the new show has started?
Yeah, we did. Well, we did the one in Toronto, which was coincided with the premiere of the show, because there was the premiere in Los Angeles, which some of the people made it down to. But then they had a special screening of episode 1 here in Toronto. And they decorated a room just like in the 90s, a teenager's basement, you know, filled with donuts and goodies.
Oh, that's right. I saw
a bunch of
awesome.
beanbag chairs for people to recline on. And everybody watched episode 1, and we all sat on chairs.
That fan
Those of
expo,
us
right?
that could not get back out of beanbag chairs.
I was going to say.
Why would
There's
you
not
want
the
to?
There's not the easy things to get out of.
Well, eventually you must.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
You want to live
Things
your life.
start to go to sleep on you after a while.
well, not just that, but unless you're wearing Depends.
Well, yes. Fair enough. I mean, some people may have come prepared with depends, but
Yes, like gamblers.
Yeah.
yeah, gamblers, of course.
Can't leave the machine. You know.
Yeah, it's-
The next
Well, has
one's
the,
the lucky pull.
have any?
I
of the
did a
newer-
series about gambling called Tilt,
Oh,
and we were stunned to hear that people who were playing the machines actually sit there and will wear diapers so they don't have to leave the machine.
yeah. It's gambling's an
That
interesting.
blew my mind. That's really hardcore.
Gambling's a very interesting addiction.
Yeah.
You know, in a way that like it's almost. Someone once said that you're not addicted to winning, you're addicted to losing.
I guess
makes
so.
more sense. Yeah, which makes more sense.
I mean,
that
you're
way.
I've never
experiencing
partaken
more
of
of it.
that, and
Well, it's like anything. It just gives you dopamine, right? When you finally
Yeah.
win something, you're happy. So
I beat the system. I played VLTs once in my life, and I won $30, and then I've never played them again.
I won one lottery in my life, and that was the draft lottery down in the States.
Oh. I don't feel like that's winning.
Yes, it is. Because Vietnam was raging,
yeah.
and I was 1A, and they
Oh,
called
you-
my number, and it was a very close number to saying goodbye.
Oh yes.
And they
You
stopped
won
before they
DW.
got to me, so I figure I won that lottery. I don't.
Oh,
deserve
yeah,
to win
okay.
Um,
anymore.
Won the lottery. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Won the lottery. They didn't have to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you
well-
meant they pulled your name. I was like, oh, that's
No,
not-
no, no,
I was
no,
like,
no, no. Winning there was not pulling your name. 'Cause
Yeah.
they pulled a birthday and then they pulled a number.
Oh.
And if you pulled a low number, then chances were that they would take you. A high number, you were pretty well clear.
Well, with
I
the
pulled like a real low middle number, and they stopped very close to where I was, which was
that's very lucky.
it was
Well,
pretty
we were waiting
scary.
for you with open arms up here in Canada. And
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You would have.
Well,
you would
a lot
have
of my
became a
friends
citizen
ended
a
up
little
here.
early.
I knew
Yeah.
people who did.
There's a blues guy here in Nova Scotia who he moved here because he was avoiding the draft there. Morgan Davis. He's a really good blues guy.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. He has this song called Reefer Smoking Man where he credits smoking weed for the first time to making him run to Canada and escape the war. So he's like, he credits it with saving his life. So that's
One of the
pretty fun.
greatest anthems ever written is by David Peel in the Lower East Side. The Pope smokes dope.
Nice.
Great.
He
Have
was a friend
probably
of
the
John
good stuff.
Lennon's.
yeah. Wow. We'll have like with these conventions you've done since. Has many of the new voice cast joined you guys, or is it still
Yes.
predominant? Yeah.
The voice of Magneto,
Uh-huh.
Matthew Waterston. He joined us in the last con. This was in Calgary.
Nice.
And he was a very, very nice man. And then I did a podcast just 2 days ago with AJ, who plays
Gambit.
Gambit. Yes.
Right. Right. Who?
Yes, we haven't met any of the new cast yet, but we'll meet Holly next week. We're looking forward to that. Holly Chen.
Well, these are the only two that I've met.
Yeah.
And Matthew's a great guy. We palled around all weekend with him and had dinner every night.
Oh, he
He
seems
was
like a
2
really.
tables over from me, and he's a tremendous fella.
Plays
yeah,
a
great
hell of a
voice actor.
Magneto. Yeah.
He is a great Magneto.
He's a fantastic Magneto. He
Yeah,
does some
great.
amazing work.
It wasn't going to be easy to replace David Hemblin either, right? That's a big shoes to fill.
nobody from the old cast was easy to replace.
Yeah.
You know, they're all sadly missed, and
Yeah. Well, yeah.
but they're doing a great job. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
they're all right in there and hit the ground running.
Yeah, I've
Beautiful
been very,
performances.
very impressed.
I
with
can
most-
hardly wait to meet everybody in person, but that's going to entail a trip down to LA.
Yeah.
Or that Zoom call anyway. You know, it's
Well,
close.
the Zoom call we'll meet eventually.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I tell you, the Theo James is in a whole other light to me after watching him in the show. Like I've only been familiar with him in like some of the movie work he's done, but hearing his
Did you
voice
see The
work in
Gentleman?
this as Bastian, no, not the new show, no, but his work as
Interesting,
Bastian.
yeah.
I recognized his voice when I was watching the show just a little while ago.
Yeah,
The Gentleman.
Yeah.
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 It's a good show.
Hmm.
yeah, I have to check that out. It's just weird to me they made a show out of that like so soon after the movie. It was like 2 years. There's like a new show. Yeah,
Strike the iron while it's hot.
I guess so. God, yeah,
Well, that's what they're trying to do with all these Comic Cons now.
yeah.
Everybody wants us to show up, and it's really difficult because I don't really enjoy flying all that much. As if
Me
anybody
neither.
does. That's the hardest part of doing these is traversing the airports and dealing with all the delays. And
No,
that
that's
is
not
tough.
that's not fun.
Just
no,
need a
it's
real-life
not. It's
black
very
belt.
frustrating, and the older you get, the harder it is to get around.
Oh, for sure.
Starting to feel that myself. MZ has a good question here. We already answered one of those, that the season 2 is done, but do you have a favorite episode or moment from season 1 so far?
No, I don't have any favorites. They're all equally good to me, and we have finished recording season 2.
Cool. Awesome.
I have, at least. I don't know about everybody else, but I finished the principal recordings.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's got to be interesting to like the level of how important it is to obviously keep quiet about all this stuff, and like about the stuff you can't talk about, and also talk to people, and always be on guard about what you can and can't say. It must be
Well, it's no different than shooting a movie. Who's going to go out
true.
and tell somebody how a story ends?
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, I'm going to ruin your time. Don't bother going to see the movie. Here's how it ends.
That's right. Pay me the $5 or the
It's
$10. I'll tell you.
Self-defeating. I mean, not to mention the fact that it's all still kind of a jumble because
I just mean even to let something slip, like not purposeful, but in the way that even saying the minors thing, some people can take and run off to the moon with. So.
Well, with this social media and everything, some people can hardly wait to post something. I'm not on social media, so I would actually have to draw on my memory to remember, tell somebody. Quite frankly, I'm just reading the scripts, and then when we record, there's no interaction. You're just doing your own lines.
Yeah.
And you don't really memorize the script. You get the gist of it, so you know where you're playing and where your character is at.
Right.
But then you move on to the next one, and by the time you're recording again, you kind of have to reread what you did because it's been about 2-3 months.
Right.
Have you read
They're putting a lot of time into the writing of the show.
Oh, it's fantastic.
So they're not just cranking them out one after another. They're putting a great deal of care and effort into the thing. And
have you read a line in either season 1 or season 2, and obviously season 2 you can't say, but that you're like, this is so Beast, this is the most Beast thing I've ever said, like this is amazing, or okay, this is Beast. Like, is there something that's really
well, they're all everything is written for the character. So yes, every line I say is characteristic of Beast. And they put in a lot of his cliches. I've said all my stars and garters a number of times.
How many times?
You come across something that is enormously epic, and Beast's reaction is, "Oh dear."
I love my name is Beast, not the Blue Boy, madam.
Yeah, that's still one of my favorite lines.
Blue Boy.
I have a whole list of Beast quotes that I carry around to put on signings because people say, "Oh, put down something from Beast." And again, I can't remember a lot of the stuff that he said, so I had to print out a sheet for myself that has a lot of his key lines, and I picked out from watching the episodes the ones that resonate with me, and I have to carry them around.
Hey.
Did you find, like, I know in the original series, you guys, at least in the beginning, were together in a room and interacting while you recorded. Was that not correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at least after that, I think when you guys stopped doing that, you were still all recording in the same studio, was it?
We still are, yeah. We're still in the same studio we did the original one. Except for the people that don't live in Toronto.
Yeah. Like Lenore records in Halifax.
Lenore is wherever she's at, and Chris Potter records wherever he's at because he's back shooting Heartland now.
Oh, he's on that show, right?
He's on the prairies again.
Yes. Oh yeah, well he's a big cheese there. He directs a lot of the shows. He's the star of the show.
That's a big 20-some
show. It's been going for over 14 years.
Yeah, that's a big Canadian show. It's been on for quite a while.
Oh yeah, well it's big in the States too.
Right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Huh. I did not know that.
It's once in a while one breaks through.
It's like the number 2 watch show in all of North America.
Really?
Heartland?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God! I did
Did
not
not
know
know
my
that.
I
stars
didn't
and
know that
garters.
either, but it was pointed out to me.
Wow.
So that's
Wow.
kind of an honor, you know.
Well, I guess that's why it's been going 14 years. And
That's
it makes
right.
sense. Wow.
I remember when
not
I
know
worked
that.
on Haven, someone was talking about that show back when it was going, and that was like a long time ago. So that's why I was like, this show's still in the air? It's crazy.
Wow.
Must be nice to have a show that runs that long.
Yeah.
Well,
You know.
here's hoping. That's the one thing I
Yeah, it'd
wanted
be
to
nice
say
for
here.
us to go.
Well, we're
Well, the
here
way
on
it's
News
going
and
now.
Rumors.
I mean, with
The
this,
rumors are
this
they're
is
happy.
already. We've got 7 seasons in the bag if you count
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
the first run.
Well, let's go Roman numeral X at least, right?
Yeah,
I love
let's
that.
keep on going.
So
Because
that's.
I'll tell you, this is fun.
I wonder if they would.
It
I wonder
has
if they'll change it. If it'll just stay X-Men 97 all the way through whatever many seasons they do, because eventually the time will progress. The years will go on, right? Will we get an X-Men 98, 99? Is that how they'll do it? Do you think?
I have no idea.
Well, no. I don't want you to answer that because that might be privileged
Well, I
information.
can't.
But
I don't
yeah,
know. what
Yeah.
they
oh,
have
fair
to
enough.
manage.
I'm just curious.
That's
It's not
probably
like
something.
they ask us, you know.
Yeah, yeah. You got the input. You want to know where do you want the show to go, George? We'll change it.
It's
I
like,
mean,
well,
we
let's say
really
more
just
beast.
we just wait for the script, just like everybody else waits for the show, and we're just as excited to get it every time that we're in a show because you don't get the ones you're not in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
fair,
Oh
yeah.
Has there
So
been
there's a
episodes
gap.
that Beast hasn't been in? Oh yeah, but Beast
There
wasn't in,
was
like,
one.
Life, Death, and Life, Death. And,
There was one in season 1 that the Beast wasn't in,
Yeah.
and it was quite surprising because I hadn't read it.
and then you just
Right.
get the next one.
So
and
I
you're
got
like,
to
"Whoa,
watch
7?
something that I didn't know what was going to happen.
He does get a brief. He is in the Nintendo episode briefly, so he's in that one, which is 4. But yeah, that's true.
And it was neat having Captain America in there too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Still looking for that shield.
Yeah, I guess you won't be needing this.
I just like the look on her face after that. She's just like, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that." No, I'm cool. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Like first, she was like, "Oh, that might
Well,
have been a
it's
step
just-
too far."
It's just the points they make in the show and how strong they are about it. It's just so good. Like the idea that like the symbol of America isn't helping all Americans. So you're not the symbol of America. You don't need this, and just throw the shield
Yeah.
away. It's like it's so good. It's so good. It's just so well done. Beautiful show.
We're being asked by our buddy C.
Oh,
Jack.
how many
here.
seasons do you predict X-Men 97 will be?
Yeah.
If I could tell you that, I'd be investing in the stock market.
In Disney.
Well, I think that's a good thing to invest in at any rate.
Probably.
Oh yeah, seems to be doing fairly well. It's
Yeah,
Oh,
pricey
Disney,
stock.
I've worked quite a number of times for Disney,
Mhm.
going way back to the 80s.
Was the Sinbad series with Disney?
No, that was All American
No.
Television. That was by the guy who did Baywatch,
Oh really?
David
Wow.
Gerber.
Oh, interesting.
It's funny whenever I turn on
No,
my
Honey, I
Roku
Shrunk the
TV,
Kids
Baywatch
was a
is on.
co-production with Disney. That was a Disney production.
The TV show,
The
Right.
TV show.
right? With
Then I did a
Peter Stormare.
mini-series, a historical one back in the 80s
Wow, this is very
that had,
cool.
I think, Keith Carradine in it.
Oh really?
Oh, Keith Carradine.
Yeah, and it was set in some frontier village that we filmed in eastern Ontario. So I've had a brush with Disney over the decades quite a few times.
Well, I'm digging. I'm really digging that there's a lot of attention being drawn towards tomorrow's episode about the return of the old X-Men costumes.
Ooh.
And I love that Beast is essentially the same because it doesn't really change. They're all
He's
different
always
except
blue.
Beast. Yeah, he just which I think is.
We
great.
had
I
a
mean,
question at the panel in Calgary about everybody's favorite wardrobe. And they came to Beast, and I said, "Well, the white lab coat."
The only
I
thing
do-
that's not a blue Speedo or a yellow
Well,
Speedo.
I do like the throwback. Every once in a while, they'll see the old, like it was pretty prevalent in this episode. The picture of the old X-Men, like the original run of them with Xavier in the original costumes.
Yeah.
And you get to see the big-handed, big-footed Beast with the the blue mask and the whole outfit, which is really nice. Nice
Well,
to see
there's
that.
also the Howard the Duck T-shirt.
Right, yeah, which is great.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was a great
that was
nod.
that was a
That
great.
inside joke.
For anyone who saw that movie.
I was gonna say, I guess Beast was a fan of that movie.
Well, I did see the movie.
You've seen Howard the Duck?
I saw
man.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what's stupid? A fun note about me is I read the novelization of it before I saw the movie. It was when I was in high school. It was in my
Just in
library.
case you missed something, huh?
Yeah, the book wasn't that bad, and then I watched the movie, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
It's like
I don't
read
want to
this-
offend anybody.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the
It may
people
have
that,
been a tragedy.
I think the people that would have been offended by the Howard the Duck movie have been offended a long time ago.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like when I read the Jaws book before I watched the movie. It's like very different, you know. So
Well, that's a good movie at least.
it's a
Yeah.
good book. Good book.
Yeah, probably. Well, so
Well,
X-Men comics.
I read The Godfather before I saw the movie.
No,
Oh,
nice.
really?
That would have been interesting.
How
Well,
did that
it's-
hold up compared to the book? I mean, it's my favorite
Oh,
movie of all time.
It's
but-
brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, especially because the movies, like the Puzo books, keep going, right? The movies end with 3, but there's like 10 or 5 to 10 of the Godfather books going on beyond the movies, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So- Yeah, they keep
There's
going.
nobody left in that family by book 5.
Some distant cousin makes an appearance.
Yeah, their Canadian cousin comes down.
That's right. That's right.
Well, George, we don't want to keep you all night. We super appreciate you stopping in.
Actually, before you go, George, we wanted to do something nice for Dan because he's celebrating ringing the bell. He's cancer free after going
Yeah.
through
Oh,
a lot of work.
yay.
So we wanted to
I get to
congratulate
go
him.
in
on
for a
that.
prostate exam next week.
Oh well, that's
Thank you,
man,
Yeah.
that's a fun yay.
Yay.
Hey, it's a means to an end, right? It's
Yes.
no pun intended. No pun intended.
Well, congratulations. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah,
Thank you
we're
so
very-
much.
very
Very
excited.
kind of you guys. Really cool.
We got
Thank
2
you.
May it stay that
superheroes
way.
on the bottom of the screen.
That's
That's
us.
what I think.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, congratulations, man.
yeah, man.
All right. Well, thanks for
Well,
coming, George. We're
Hey,
such
thanks for having
George.
me and
Big fans of
keep
the
watching
show.
the show.
Oh, there's no danger of that not happening. Yeah.
No danger at all.
I'm
And
very excited
hopefully
for
we'll
tomorrow.
see you at one of the cons. I guess you're going to be in New York.
Oh,
we'll see
come
you.
on. I've been begging for you guys to come to New York. Please come to New York.
Well, we are January or not January. God, I'm seeing.
You're coming to Brooklyn. I'll see you in Brooklyn. I'll see
June
you in
8th
Brooklyn.
and 9th, we're in Brooklyn.
I'll see you guys.
Well,
in
Not
Brooklyn.
all of us, but some of us.
I'll
I
see
can't
you guys.
imagine you guys would go any further east than Toronto, so I'll probably have to make it up to Toronto one sometime.
We've gone farther east than Toronto. We've
We're in
been
Montreal.
Montreal. We're going to do in July, but I've been
Oh.
to Boston and Rhode Island.
Well, we're in Nova Scotia, me and Devin. So
Well, that's just a
yeah, hopping a skip down to
paddle
Boston.
the
Actually,
river.
that's true. Yeah, Boston would be a fun one to hit up sometime.
Yeah.
We should definitely do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
That's not too far for you, is it, Dan? Like
No,
4 or
but I
5
don't
hours?
think they do they do Rhode Island, but I don't know if there's a Boston con.
Oh, Rhode Island.
no, it wasn't Boston. We were in Rhode Island, and then we're going to do Springfield.
Oh, you're doing
Okay.
Springfield?
Oh,
Yeah.
Springfield.
Going to visit my mother. That's where she's from. So, all right, I'll see you in Springfield. for
Well,
sure.
the great thing about that is my old roommate lives in a small town in Massachusetts. And when we did Rhode Island, we got together for the first time in 52 years.
Oh,
That's
wow.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Go for a
it's
bike
really
ride.
neat being able to look up old roommates and college guys when you do these cons. You go, I wonder if he's still there, you know?
Yeah.
It's gonna be so surreal too, right? To be like this, the guy I went to school with, who's like doing these,
Well, we also had to send pictures of ourselves to each other so we knew what we'd look like. Because we got this vision, you know, of the 21-year-old guy
Yeah.
that we used to share a house with, and
Yeah.
now he's an old guy.
Well, I don't know, man. Like when I was looking up stuff for tonight's episode, you show up in the IMDb casting with your photo, and you don't look that much different than you did back whenever that photo was taken.
Well, that's not that long ago.
Yeah, fair
The
enough.
photo, my last photo is not that long ago.
There you go.
But from when I was doing X-Men in '91, I was in my 40s then.
Well, fair enough,
So
because
that's the long, yeah.
when I watched
This was
like
brown. This didn't shine. You know,
you're distinct, man. I watched the Brain not too long ago, and I recognized you right away. So I know. Who
oh
you
yeah.
were.
Well, I still
Yeah.
look like myself, just
Yeah,
older.
yeah. I understand.
Yeah, the brain. That was fun.
Gray beards are very distinguished, I'm told.
Yes.
Well, once mine comes in, I'll join the club. So still holding on.
You're my
Right now.
age. Get some grays, man.
I think
You
red
don't
hair.
have kids. You don't have kids.
I think
Never
red
mind.
hair doesn't go as gray as others do.
Either that or he doesn't worry enough.
That's not.
Oh,
good.
he worries. He worries about existentialist things.
That's right. I contemplate the cosmos and just
I just try and stay in the ozone.
Well, that's yeah. I gotta put it in perspective.
Well, thanks again for
All
joining.
right.
you,
Well,
George.
thanks for having me. I'll go
Thank you,
back
sir.
and watch a little more FBI now.
All right. Well, enjoy.
All righty. Well, good night, guys.
Bye bye.
Awesome.
Enjoy.
Thanks, George. All right.
Yeah, how do I get
So-
out of this?
Want to close them out, Devin?
Yeah, I can boost you from the screen here.
You got
Later,
it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, surprise, damn it.
It was
Oh,
cool.
bring it
Thank
back.
you. Thank you. That was really cool of you guys. Thank you. Let me restart because
No, you sounded good now.
I sounded good now. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No,
All right,
yeah.
cool.
For a while there, it was getting rough, but no, it's good.
We're almost gonna cut you. We decided to hold on to you. So.
You know, I deserve a cut once in a while. Come on.
No.
Did you click that box?
No, yeah, it was already clicked. So I
Okay,
don't know what
good,
it is.
good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not sure what it was. I'm like, that was so cool, guys. That was amazing. Seeing
that's-
George, he's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Ah, one of the best guys, George.
Yeah,
Gibbs.
such a nice guy.
Yeah. So I guess we should review this episode.
Wait, but can I start you guys with just a little thing I did last week that was kind of X-Men related?
Ooh, let's hear
Yes, but only if you let me play the theme song first.
I'm here for it.
Okay.
it. The theme song to what?
Catch up on old
Oh.
times.
What are they up to?
What you think they doing up there?
All right. What you think they doing up there? Damn it.
So I went to a concert of a female rapper here in the city, and one of her hit singles during the chorus, she says, X-Men Ben Storm. Who is the female rapper who I went to go see in the city who's got that lyric?
X-Men what? Ben
I
Storm?
probably know a total of 5 rappers,
Okay,
so
okay.
I got no guesses here. I'm gonna
Says-
say Eminem.
It's a female rapper. He said a female rapper.
He says, X-Men Ben Storm. Like, I've been Storm from the X-Men.
It's not. Well, okay. So it's not. Oh, okay. I googled it, so I'm not going to say it.
No, someone's going to Google it. Okay.
I just googled it, so I know who it is, but I wouldn't have guessed that if I'd have known. And Davin, there's no way Davin only
I mean-
listens to obscure jazz musicians from the 1970s.
Yeah, I was like, I don't
He
think
has
these
no
guys are
idea
gonna
who this
know, but I'm going to put this out there.
I know who it
Yeah.
is, and that's cool. I didn't know.
All right.
All right.
Let's hear it then.
So it's Nicki Minaj, and she does a song.
Oh,
called
I've heard
Chun-Li.
of her.
Yeah, she does a song called Chun-Li, and like 4 or 5 years ago, she came out with a song about Chun-Li. You know, Chun-Li from
From Street Fighter. Yeah.
She
And
has a
so-
butt, as I recall.
She has.
Most female singers
Yes.
do have butts, Devin. Yeah.
She has the butts.
Yes. Yes.
Butts. Yeah. So anyway, so Chun-Li, so she brought up that, and she brought up X-Men Ben Storm. So I made sure to the concert I wore a shirt that had Storm on it. So
That's
I
lovely.
was like, yep, yeah. I was like, this is going to be my homage to the X-Men, and I was like thinking, I'm like, what am I going to talk to you guys about as I log in? And I'm like, I know we're going to talk
That's
about
pretty
the concert
great.
I went to, which is Nicki Minaj. And I said to one person, I'm wearing this Storm shirt, and no one else had any Storm shirts on. So
What?
I would argue, and I don't think you guys may get this, but there was one line in this episode that made me think that it was a reference to another popular singer of the modern era, which I will bring up later.
Okay.
But we'll discuss that at length. Storm's
Sheb
kind
Woolley?
of- yes, absolutely. Sheb Woolley, yes. Yeah, Engelbert Humperdinck is who I'm referring to, actually.
My mother loves Engelbert Humperdinck.
Yeah, okay. Lawrence Welk, that's who it is. No, but also, like Jade Cargill, the WWE wrestler, who's formerly AEW wrestler, has her whole look is inspired by Storm. And
Yeah, I
cool.
sent a picture of her to Andre one time, and I'm like, "This is where our worlds collide." He's like, "It's our spirit animal."
yeah, she's becoming big business in WWE. They're using her a lot.
Man, she looks awesome though, like powerful, and like she could almost play Storm if she was an actress.
I don't know who she is, so
It's just a wrestler that's super buff, dresses up like
right.
Storm.
Her name is Jade Cargill, which is actually her real name. That's not a fake name. But she's from Florida. And she's a wrestler in the WWE.
All right. Cool.
Storm fan. So Storm fans are cool with me usually. Yeah. All right. Let's get into this episode then. Here. Where's my other thing? Oh, here we go.
Previously on X-Men.
And where did we leave off?
Simply listen and obey. See, you were born for this.
Yep. That's where we left off. Eating
Yeah.
purple people.
That's right. Interesting episode. Once again, not as high as others because I have some questions, but it's really, really good. I really dug
Well,
this
the last
episode.
one or this one?
This one.
Oh, really? This
I
one's,
loved
like,
it, but
seems to-
there's a few, like, I don't want to.
Such a nitpicker, this Andre.
I'm not a nitpicker, dude. But if it leaves you with these questions that if the questions get answered, yes, all good.
All right,
But-
what are your questions?
Well, I don't want to we haven't
We'll
got
get
through
in
the
when
whole
we get
episode.
there.
Okay, we don't know whatever his plan was for Magneto because it never happens. Also, how does Wolverine know that Magneto started a war at the end? How does anyone know? There's no internet. Did Magneto go on TV and announce it? How do they even know Magneto did anything?
No, you don't have to. Actions can declare war, Andre. People
But
don't.
how
it's
do they
not
know
the
it was
office
Magneto?
where a buddy steps out and it's like, I declare bankruptcy. That's not how you declare war.
No, but how did you even know Magneto did it?
Because a giant EMP just knocked out everything in the world.
How do you know it's Magneto?
Because he's the only one that can control that.
They thought he was dead. At no point have they found out he's not dead. So
I don't know.
That's what.
I don't know.
That's an issue. That's what I mean.
No.
Like that's a pretty big. That's a pretty big misstep in my opinion. As far as like,
I thought
a
that
story
was
goes.
obvious when he said that.
It's
I was
not
like, yes.
obvious.
It's
not obvious.
To them, it is.
No. Man, you got a guy that just turned half the world into Sentinels, and you can tell me no one else on the planet's possible to make an EMP? So
I don't. I think people don't think he's dead. I think.
Yeah,
well, no, within the world of the show, yes, they do.
I don't know. I don't think they do. And neither.
I don't
does
think they
Dave.
do either.
Like,
Yeah.
does it have a funeral for him?
Because he's an Omega level mutant, and like how many
Where
times
do- where do
have
they
they
think
thought
he
they
went?
killed Magneto? Or like
Yeah,
X-Men
there's
think they
seasons-
kill their villains all the time, and they always come back.
At many points in the episode, they say Magneto was right. Not is right, was right, which means they think he's dead. So I'm
No,
just
it
saying.
doesn't.
Yes, it does. Why wouldn't he be right now then?
Well, they had those T-shirts in the comics too, and the character was.
This
They
has
did,
not to do
yes.
with the comics. This has to do with the way people are referencing the storyline that's happening right now. So they're saying they throw the thing. Valerie Cooper says, or whatever says Magneto was right. Someone else says Magneto. Well, she knows he's alive, but others say maybe Magneto was right. Magneto knew the truth. Like Cyclops says that when they talk about how the relationship with Magneto. So I'm not saying it's a huge. This is still like an 8 or a 9. It's not a bad episode.
No.
It's just, to me, that was one thing where I was like, oh, that's weird that like Wolverine would know to say Magneto just started a war, because why do they even know he's alive and how they know it was him that did it?
But like season 1 through 5, Magneto's come and gone so many times, and let's continue on, continuation. So I think that people are like, okay, Magneto's dead again. Okay, sure he is. Like, remember
Sure
we
he is.
crawled
I
up.
don't know. The show takes things too seriously to take those things too lackadaisical.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, to me. Like I said, it's
They-
not like it's
they-
a huge, but to me it's a weird misstep.
But you notice they threw a funeral for Gambit.
Yes?
Did
Yeah.
you notice the funeral for Magneto?
No, because he wasn't their best friend.
Because they
didn't
don't
love
think
him.
he's dead.
He wasn't one of the X-Men.
He's not dead.
He was their leader.
He was our leader, yes.
Did they like it? Did any of them agree with it?
Rogue.
No, she didn't agree with it either. Listen, you can't tell me that they didn't think he was dead. Come on, you guys are
definitely
just
didn't
making
think
this
he was
up You guys will not find any fault with it. Not you, whatever, damn it. But Davin specifically cannot.
He just wants to attack me right now.
No,
not you.
but you can find no fault in this show, even when there's obvious fault. You can't see it because you love it so much, and I love it too. But I'm saying
had a bit of a hiccup.
You can't ignore an issue if there is one, and that is one.
But I don't think that is one. Like if you in the X-Men world, like X-Men TV shows, X-Men comics, anything in the X-Men, if you don't see a body, that person is not dead. Because they always come back unless there's a dead body.
As a fan reading a comic, you can assume that within the storyline of the show.
No, see, the same thing happens in this show.
You ignore it.
You do. Like, see, Andre makes this separation of comics and TV, and never the twain shall
No,
meet.
and that's not true. You can talk about them, but you need to approach the show within the continuity of the show.
Which I am, but I'm also including the 5 seasons.
But it's only convenient.
That's exactly what the 5 seasons prior.
Yes, you're forgetting about the 5 seasons where they thought they killed Magneto 20 times and he kept coming back. They thought they killed Magneto or Apocalypse 20 times.
Then why did they say? Then why did Cyclops say maybe Magneto was right, or Magneto knew what it was about instead of saying knows what it's about?
Because you can talk it. Because when they say the word "was," it's because it's something he said.
At no point since episode
it's past tense.
Over the last 3 episodes, nobody said Magneto's still alive, or Magneto might come back, or Magneto's going to do something. Like at no point do they reference it because they think he's dead.
But they might off screen.
Oh my god, you guys are crazy. Okay, that's fine. Fine. Everyone just knows Magneto's alive, even though they think they saw him get obliterated.
Not knows, but if you don't see a body,
okay.
Like it's not like he was buried under rubble. They saw what was happening there. At least
he got obliterated. He got incinerated, is what they thought.
There's no bodies.
But that. Oh my god. Okay.
Like the Sentinel.
Okay,
I guess they did incinerate a couple people. They incinerated Banshee.
All right. So if a big natural disaster happens and a bunch of bodies are crushed under buildings, we can't dig them all out. We have to accept they're gone. They could still be alive. There's no body.
If they're mutants in the X-Men world, yes. Because they always come back, even in the animated series. They always come back.
Okay.
How many times did Jean die? She even talks about it. She's like, I died 3 times. And like, here I am.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
Well, I just don't see like that's. I don't know.
It's you're doing mental gymnastics to explain why the show isn't perfect. And I'm not saying it isn't a fantastic, beautiful show. That's like a 10 out of 10 if I were to give the whole show a run. But that doesn't mean every once in a while something comes up that makes you raise an eyebrow.
Mistakes can happen. Bit taken aback.
Goose
I don't think Wolverine could come to that conclusion.
No, I don't think the world would.
No,
why would, like at no point did Wolverine ever say in the last 3 episodes after they think Magneto died that they think he's still alive, he could still be alive, he is still alive. Every reference to him is in the past tense. He was right.
And then there's a giant EMP.
Okay.
Which to Wolverine or the X-Men be like, he is alive.
But that's what I mean. You live in a world of
a giant EMP just knocked out everything. Probably Magneto.
You live in a world of mutants, of aliens, of other monsters, of like guys from the future show up all the time. It could be anything.
It could technically, yes. But what I'm saying is, with the situation that's happening in this series, like it's very much the battle of the Operation Zero Tolerance and the Sentinels against the mutants. So if Magneto was alive, where Wolverine's brain would go, I think that's what he would do if he like.
He's never showed he's an Omega level mutant, but he's never showed power to that level before on the show.
Yes, he has. He's taken an asteroid into space and like.
We never saw that. The asteroid was already in space. He went to space and built on an asteroid. He didn't shoot it to space from the Earth.
Yes, but asteroids don't just orbit the Earth.
If they stop within the same pole as gravity, they would. If you stop
it, never happens.
The magnetic pole's got to do something to that.
Yeah, well, maybe so, but that's different than actually doing an electromagnetic pulse or an EMP over the entire planet.
Like, I think we're missing the only possible nitpick in this episode, which is not what you're saying. It's how was Magneto not shivering in his undies in the Arctic?
God, it'd be freezing.
It seems like his. It seems like his
cold.
It seems like his powers can be whatever they want it to be, whatever's convenient for the
He's
story.
Omega level. That's true.
Well, that's what I mean. Like he can survive touching Rogue. He can put a thin veneer around him and be naked in the Arctic. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I just think that to me, I think that's a bit of a stretch to put those two things together. But that's just me.
Well,
okay.
I don't know. Wolverine's been around the block.
Okay.
But who knows?
Also, they haven't really
right.
addressed whether the X-Men knew that Xavier was still alive or not, which I still don't think they did. I think they think he died when he was in space.
I don't think they
Now they know he's alive because the world knows. But
well, they sent him to space alive. Remember, they're like, well,
yeah, I know.
There,
but
MZ says he's assumed Wolverine sensed it can only be Magneto, and that's where my brain went immediately too. It's just like, Magneto just started a war, like, because that would be his move, and that is not declaring war, but it's declaring war with your actions. Now, like, if Magneto knocks out all the power on Earth, most of the governments of Earth are going to be pissed. Mm-hmm. They are going to come after Magneto and the mutants. Now there is a human. It's not just Operation Zero Tolerance now. Now it's a human versus mutant war.
Oh, all the power was back on the next day. When they were cleaning up, there were lights and stuff on. The power's not out everywhere. It was just for whatever stopped all the mutants.
It was just for that moment or whatever.
I guess, yeah.
He had a reason to do it. Like, we'll find out.
No, it's totally
that moment. But,
I mean, it was the only way. It was the only way to get rid of all the Sentinel Primes, which is why he did it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Yep.
So it was a great move in that regard. And I got lots to say about those Sentinel.
Like I said, it's a fantastic episode. That's just my biggest beef with it. It's
like a great episode.
Feel like that's a bit of a little bit of a misstep to me. But
well, I don't.
If there was a phone call from Valerie or somebody, or somebody to them to tell them, then that would have made sense. But it just seems strange to me. It'd be like, because it could have been, there's a lot of people that. What about Warlock?
Were you
came
deprived of exposition as a child?
No, I think you were, because you're making I've got lots of exposition because that's what fills in those holes. Not getting exposition is when you make your own exposition, which is what you're doing.
Yikes, Mom, Dad, stop fighting, please.
No, we're gonna fight all fucking night.
We're upsetting Danbit.
Stop fighting, Mom and Dad, please.
We were perfectly happy before you came along, Danbit.
No, that's not true. We're more happy with you, Dan. But
we're splitting up. We're splitting up, and it is because of you, Dan.
Oh, I don't want to have half my holidays with you and the other one.
That's all right. I'll be the cool dad. What? I don't have kids, so we can do whatever the hell you want.
True.
Anytime.
That's right. True. Come back to Truro. Come hang out at the.
You'll be babysitting if you come.
At Pearl Vision. We'll go check out the
Pearl Vision in Truro. Yes,
that's right. Straight by the restaurant.
Make sure they're keeping it up to snuff.
That's right. That's right. The husband will be on that. So,
what's your husband's name?
His name's Jeff.
Jeff. All right. Well, get Jeff back down here.
Classic husband name.
Jeff. Yes. Standard Jeff.
He's the best. Yeah. Someday he'll come by and wave hi, but
he's got good.
We saw his butt earlier when George.
Yeah, he walked by before. Yeah, so that was it. But he's like, "You handle you."
So. He's got good taste in partners, so he's probably a good guy.
Thanks.
True. All right, let's get us into this episode.
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. So, Cable. Well, you get the intro as always with a few little added extra things. I don't think there's anything too new in the intro this time around. Trying to see if there's anything specific that jumped out at me. I know we got the stuff that they added before with Apocalypse and Nightcrawler and all that jazz, which we have. Professor X is back in the mix, which I don't know if he was there before.
That's an interesting point, C-Jack. Could be a wild guess after all. When Jean was pregnant, Wolverine thought it was Apocalypse, so he just could be like Magneto. Like Wolverine jumps to wild conclusions.
That could be. See, I would accept that. All
right. Thanks, C-Jack. You just solved the marital dispute here, and now Dan can be happy on Christmas.
Now I have two happy parents again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still not happy about it. It's still sloppy, but I would accept that. I don't think that's what they did, but I would accept it. I don't think that's what they did, but I'll accept it. I would accept that.
So talking about the intro, do you know who is the only person that has any kind of vocalization as a character in the intro consistently, I believe, since the first intro from X-Men 97?
Sinister. He laughs.
Yeah. What does he say?
He just laughs.
Yeah. This is the best. I'm like, how do they get anybody to have a vocalization in the first 5 years? No one did anything. And now they have Sinister constantly just running around Morph and laughing at it.
Well, it's funny because Sinister's once again fallen into the he was a villain by himself in one episode, and then he's kind of been a lackey ever since, except for his origin episode.
You think he's a lackey right now? We'll talk about that later.
We'll see. Like I said,
he even told Val how he's using.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm sure he's felt that way about the other people he was lackeys for with Apocalypse and all the others too.
He was a lackey for Apocalypse once, but we never really saw that. That was like in the 1700s or some shit, but for the 1800s. But
oh no, when the whole time thing, that whole
Yeah,
time
yeah,
thing,
the end
he
of,
was
season
he was
4.
Apocalypse's lackey. He was lackey to Apocalypse then.
Everyone was lackey to Apocalypse then, I feel like.
oh yeah, right.
Remember Magneto was too.
Yeah, Magneto too. Yeah.
He thought he was going to get his wife back.
Yeah.
I love that he's like I will sacrifice everything to get my dead wife back and ruin time for Apocalypse, but and I'll forget about those times I was sleeping with Rogue after she died, but before this point, that was a different time.
You think Bishop's ever coming back? Because he lost their baby and he's been gone ever since. He's just like, I don't really need to talk to Cyclops anymore.
Where's that baby again?
He's probably going through time holding a baby, and he was like, oh, I wonder what time is. Oh no!
Oh no!
Wait a second. What was that name again? Oh,
I'm not used to holding a baby in this time stream.
As the baby's falling, he's like, your name's Nathaniel, but you'll go by Cable now.
Don't create Bastion.
baby's falling. Where?
Yeah.
You'll be several different characters through time.
Yeah.
So we run into now Cable's joined the X-Men. Essentially, he's hanging out with the team. We see him shooting bottles for practice outside. We see Jean approach Scott, ask him, if he had a chance to talk to Cable, and Scott says the writing of the show is impeccable. Mwah. With some lovely dialogue where he says it seems like Cable's mutant powers avoiding leaving the room every time he enters one. Like, so obviously Cable doesn't want to talk to him. I love how Scott inadvertently is like a deadbeat dad, even though he didn't really do anything to be a deadbeat dad. He's like, he thought he was saving his son.
One moment when he was just like, I want no part of this, and he just kind of walks away.
Well, because he thought he was saving his son.
Yeah.
But he just couldn't be there to do it. He knew what had to happen. He just couldn't be there to do the actual thing.
Yeah, fair enough. He has a history.
And Gene even says he's stubborn. I wonder where he got that from, referencing his.
Yeah.
So this is where we fill in what happened. Gambit says, I thought Bishop was supposed to take care of him. And he says that Cable told Beast that Bishop, they got lost, separated in the time stream. And whenever he got where he got there alone. So he was just a baby that wound up somewhere.
Mem says there's a couple of funny emo Cable memes out there.
Oh, yeah. I love how Scott's like, and this is where like the horror, like Scott's like, I sent him to the future to save his life, and I inadvertently sent him to a future that was so horrible he came all the way back in time to stop it from happening.
Yeah, that is a great line. But then Gene's like, no, he actually just came back because he needed his father. But that's actually, she was just fluffing him up a bit there, because he actually came back for Maddie. Like, in that he came back to see Maddie, not Cyclops, but then he got ripped away.
Which is another thing, which is why I think, well, yeah, your idea that he'll come back Source from the Apocalypse Gambit will, maybe. But there's some stuff
100%
in this.
he will.
Well, you can't say 100%, Devin. You don't know. 100%.
I'll bet money on it, and I'll wear my Depends until the money cashes in.
All right. Well, you head to the VLTs in Halifax and.
I already beat that system.
So Scott was wishing. Well, I got the one thing no other gambler has: a system. So, so one of my favorite Simpsons lines. I think it was The Simpsons. I can't remember what it was, but it was one of my favorite lines. The one thing no other gambler has: a system.
Most of the best lines are from the first 13 seasons of The Simpsons.
So this is where we get basically Cyclops wishing the professor could have taught him to be more of a leader, father type, like he was for them. Gene says, it's up to him to figure that sort of thing out.
Some things you got to learn.
That's right. Then we get all the fill-in info, but what's happening? This is your expositionary dialogue, right?
No, your exposition. I don't need exposition.
Yeah, okay. Because Davin's read the comics, he should assume that everyone in the world has. And the episodes shouldn't include stuff to help the people that haven't read every single X-Men comic ever read. We don't need that.
Middle range. There's a mid ground there.
Okay.
So we find out that from the timeline Cable grew up in, Bastion used the fallout from Genosha to convince the world to back his program and basically enslave the living mutants, wiping out the rest, and creating a utopia in the future for humans, where humans live their best lives and mutants are a slave race that keep it going.
Wait, why are we stupid? C-Jack says we're stupid. Explain yourself, C-Jack.
C-Jack that was previously on the show?
Yeah. Last week.
Maybe it's like stupid in the cool way that bad means good.
Oh.
He's stupid.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Oh, he's laughing, so.
All right. Fair enough. If you're laughing at us while you call us stupid, it's perfectly fine.
So B surmises what he's seen, that this techno-organic thing that Bastion is engaging in the future and is bringing here, with what the samples he took from the body of Trask, is making humans some kind of a techno race, some kind of a hybrid machine race that'll make them above mutants, so mutants are above humans. So they're basically augmenting themselves with technology to take the head of the genetic tower again. So Bash has got some crazy plans going.
You're right about one thing about his plan with Magneto, like whatever that was.
Well, Cable
also didn't seem to care that much that Val let him out. Like, not as much as he probably should have.
Right. I agree.
So, like all these things that seem to be by accident don't seem to be.
No, I don't think they're by accident. I just think a hair or two. Sometimes it's just like, to me, that one's a glaring one. There hasn't been very many glaring things like that, but it's just one small part of a really great whole. So, Morph has a funny line. Do you have this line, David?
No, I didn't have time to get many clips. The babies
really?
would not go to sleep. I got a few, but not many.
Well, Cable mentions that Bastion's evolutionary war lasts 300 years.
Yeah.
And then Morph goes, he's like sitting there and he goes, so another future utopia in which Wolverine's the last to die. Or dystopia, that's right.
Yeah. Wolverine's just like...
Then Cable tells him it's a utopia for humans. Everything's great. We see several mutants that we may recognize. I know Davin definitely will say he does, that are enslaved in the future.
I certainly do.
Who are the two that are pounding rocks?
Yeah, I didn't know who they were.
Well, I forget their names, but we saw them in a previous episode of the original series.
Okay.
But they're distinctly from a comic.
You mean the person with the metal arms?
Because the guy that created them posted something on social media about seeing his characters in a show and how cool that was. I can't remember who it was.
But they were in the show 25 years ago.
Seeing them again.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But yeah, they were in One Man's Worth, I think. Yeah. I forget their names, but yeah, they were in that briefly. So I recognized them right away. I'm like, call back to those two mutants that no one cares about. That's fine.
And then we see Polaris, also an older version of her in the future.
Very cool. Well. I love Lorna.
Loved it.
Yeah. There's so many great characters.
And is it Rachel Summers with all the black lines on her head?
That's Rachel right here, but in her Mother Ascani form.
Yeah, between Polaris and Rachel, looking fierce as heck, as like an older version of the versions we know, just like killing it. I was very pleased.
I'm a big Rachel fan too. I really like the character.
I like her too. Yep.
And Wolverine gets upset, saying, "Why didn't you stop it if you could?" And and Cyclops tells him to settle down. And he and Wolverine has a nice line. He goes, "Oh, Daddy's home."
Daddy's home. That was in the original trailer.
Yeah. Which is nice. But then Cable mentions how he's tried more times than he can count, and enough times to give up to try to stop it. So he's done this many, many, many times. But for some reason, he keeps getting pulled back to the future before he can do it. So
let me explain. I took my eyes off him for just 5 minutes.
Where was it?
You know how long 5 minutes is in the time stream? But yeah, anyway.
So Cable mentions is that he tried, and his time cube explains that every time he tries, he's pulled back. And then Beast surmises that many philosophers believe that there is fixed points in time that can never be changed. And
not many philosophers. He says the mages of Camartage, which is a nice MCU reference.
Yeah. Right, that is true. That is a nice MCU reference. So because of that, certain events can't be altered, and this may be one of them. Which is why time travel may not undo this. If they're going to undo it and rob them of a great moment by bringing Gambit back, they'll have to do it in some other manner, like the Cyclops or the Horseman of Apocalypse way or something.
Yep.
But can the Horsemen of the
no one
Apocalypse
wants
come
to
back
tell me
from
that.
the dead?
They have, yes. They've reclaimed many Horsemen of Apocalypse. Wolverine's been one, the Hulk's been one, Banshee's been one,
Mystique's
Gambit's
been one, I
been
think.
one, Deathbird's been one. Like,
right.
there's been a lot. They all come back. So, yeah. It'll happen. And it's the least egregious way to do it. Like, a timey-wimey shenanigans would be awful. That would gut the death of Gambit.
There's some great moments here between Cable and Cyclops as well. Where Cable says, that machine killed my mother. And then Cyclops says, we got to stop him before he does it to anyone else. And then Cable says, you're a few centuries late to step into the dad role.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
he says a couple centuries late in the overprotective dad role, which I think is great. But we get a lot of really fun family stuff because Jean is sort of stepping into the role of the mom in this situation. Stepmom.
I liked those scenes too, where she was asserting herself in that role. That was nice. She's like, "Stop bossing me around."
And then she stops her arguing to show them that they've released on the news. They got the footage that Bastion had from his satellite that Xavier's alive and the impromptu head of it's so crazy. Can you imagine if you're a regular human in this world? You're like, okay, mutants exist, so we got to accept that. Giant robots are killing them all the time. There's been a whole island of them that just got wiped out by another giant robot. All of a sudden, the leader of ones that are, I guess, the good guys, as far as you know, you're just an average human, is on TV as the leader of an alien race. Now you know aliens exist. You're like, oh my god, like mutants have space asteroids and there's giant robots killing people left and right.
Just in case you're
That
wondering.
world at large probably knows the alien thing already. There's been a lot.
Can you imagine
of
what
alien
life in New
shenanigans.
York City in the MCU would be like?
It's the last place
in
you'd
Marvel
ever want.
Comics.
Amazing. I'd be here for it. It's like,
My question is, how much would insurance cost in New York?
oh my gosh.
I think Damage Control would be a great Marvel TV show they should do, where it's just following them.
I thought they were gonna for a while there, but
It seemed
I
like
guess
they were
that got
leaning into
shelved.
it maybe in She-Hulk, and maybe they put it off to the side. But I love the idea of that, like just following the day-to-day off. It's like an office comedy of like the people that have to put up with all the leftovers. They sort of
Spidey movie too.
they sort of brushed it up a little bit in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, because every once in a while when the movies came out, you'd see them dealing with the back end of something that happened. Like in Thor: The Dark World, you saw them doing something afterwards, like cleaning up the mess. So
yeah, like Spider-Man, one of the Spider-Mans, right? When
right, Doom, or
with
Vulture
Michael
worked
Keaton,
for
right?
damage control. No,
Yeah,
he was shut down by damage.
they were shut down by Damage Control.
That's right. Yeah.
But there was somebody in Damage Control that was kind of a villain in the third one, right? In Spider-Man 3. He was the one that was trying, when they were blaming Spider-Man for killing Mysterio. He was like he was sort of a bad guy. I thought he was connected to Damage Control.
guy?
I thought so.
Mm,
Anyway, it's vague
okay,
now.
it's-
But, when Matt Murdock was representing him and all that. Anyway, so they've released the humans now know that Xavier's alive and seemingly the leader of some alien empire. And it's like the FC News says scandal exposed, mutant leader alive and ruling over alien empire, which seems like a remember News Weekly, that newsstand paper that was always like Bat Boy Lives and all those sort of things.
Yep.
Like the Inquirer.
It was like a step further, where it was like ridiculous. Like aliens replace Elvis would be on the cover, like that sort of thing.
I remember Bat Boy.
Yeah, that was World Weekly World News, which is a black and white
Okay.
sensationalist magazine.
Bat
Yeah,
Boy.
They're coming for you.
which is basically just ridiculous bullshit. But so now the world knows Xavier's alive, and they believe that the mutants have been lying to them about trying
I
to get
was
sympathy.
that Bat Boy.
Oh well, you aged well, you know.
Thank you.
So
My grandmother told me I was a homely baby, so she's like, you got better looking. She told me.
So we do see some pundits on the news commenting on this story, which I was going to use as an X point. Maybe you guys noticed it already, I'm assuming. Did you not notice? If so, I'll save it as an X point.
Notice what?
So
Sorry.
Jubilee, when Jubilee is hanging out with DaCosta at his parents' house, they see some talking heads talking about this revelation that Xavier's alive on the news.
No,
Did you catch who that was? Did you catch it, Dan Vince?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I'm going to write that down.
Write down an X point.
All right.
That's a big one. I'm sure the X-Goons may have noticed. But I think it's a subtle nod to where season 2 may go, or of this show. So we'll see. But anyway, This particular person is talking about how a mutant war is inevitable, but then we see Alex's mother planning some big event for to help raise funds for Genosha. Because don't look it up, Devin. If you're looking up who that person is, don't do it. I thought you were maybe searching. I was like, be surprised. It'll be great.
No,
So
I was thanking George before I forget.
Oh, that's lovely. So we find out DaCosta's mother is hosting a fundraiser with a bunch of rich socialite friends for Genosha. Saying all this sort of stuff, but it rings hollow for Jubilee. And she's kind of talking about how they still have to hide, DaCosta is a mutant and all that sort of stuff. Jubilee gets frustrated and wants to go shopping with DaCosta, so they take off.
You have a trust fund, and I have great taste.
That's true, and we do get a visit to some familiar spaces out of that, which I'm sure you probably recognize.
Oh yeah, yep.
Okay,
shopping, baby.
Devin misses these things sometimes, which is fine.
Well, I saw that.
I like bringing them up, but I'm glad you made.
What did I miss this time?
Oh, we'll get to it when we get back to the mall. So we see Rogue is in a coma after everything.
I live a heavily distracting life.
It's quite all right. It's great. I like when I get to remind you of these moments, because then you're so, oh my god, really, and it's lovely.
It's true. I like those moments too, Andre.
Yeah.
Let's get back together.
We're always together, buddy.
Aww, see mom and dad.
Just because this is it's funny because Dad and I argue about stuff in the show, but I don't take any of it personally. I don't think he does either. No. But I was gonna say
it's pretty hard to personally offend me.
But it's so funny when
it be impossible.
When you learn about these people that are like duos, like Siskel and Ebert, where they didn't really hang out or like each other in real life. They just did the show, and they both knew that it made them money, and that was their career. But they just
Gambit. Take me and Andre here. Who's the Siskel and who's the Ebert?
Sorry, what? I didn't hear what you said.
I'm putting you on the spot.
It's the sirens, you guys. I told you.
Well, I would not be happy if I was the Siskel, because Ebert, I agreed with him more when it came to movies. But
I did as well.
Yeah, because he was a lot more open to different stuff, where Siskel seemed very conservative to me. But
and he loved Dark City, and I also love that movie.
Ebert loved Dark City.
Loved it. He said it's going to be like a what do they call them? Like a cult classic.
It is, but not. I wouldn't say it's a huge cult classic, but it certainly deserves to be. It's a fantastic movie. Yeah. So yeah, we agree on that. Dark City's great. Well, you should do it on your movie podcast.
What theme would I put that under?
Dystopias.
Yeah. Okay.
Or altered reality, like the Matrix.
They're also aliens, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are aliens.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, they are. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me a lot of the show Fringe, which I was a big fan of, and I watched that before I watched Dark City, so it reminded me a lot of that.
Really? Dark City came out way before Fringe.
Yeah, I never saw it until a couple years ago.
I had it on VHS.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. Fringe is great. I've been rewatching it, actually.
Oh, I love Fringe. It's a fantastic show. It's got one of the best episodes of TV is the one with Peter Weller in season 2, White Tulip. The time travel one. The guy played RoboCop was in. It's so good.
Yeah, I love Peter Weller.
So anyway, Rogue's still in a coma after what happened with the big thing with Trask Bot. We see Nightcrawler and Jean kind of tending to her, and Jean talking about how all the memories are sort of mixed up in her head. From I love how Nightcrawler is sort of like the psychiatrist / sounding board for people that are having issues in this show.
That's his role on the team.
It's so great
in the comics too.
In the comics, everywhere. It's always
he makes you feel better when you feel like shit. That's Nightcrawler. Whether it's with sage-like advice or it's through his humor, he makes you feel better. That's why I love him. But actually, this is my one nitpick for the episode. When Nightcrawler says, or Jean's like, "Call me Jean." And he's just like, Madeline preferred her first name too. I'm like, dude, everybody does. Like, almost everybody prefers their first name. Like, that's not even a thing to say out loud. It was like what?
Davin dies of some horrible accident, and someone's like, remember, like, hi, Andre. It's like, yes, Davin went by his first name often too.
Loved his name.
He loved his first name. He loved hearing his first name.
Loved his first name.
Yeah. So that's my one nitpick for the episode.
Maybe in this reality, we all only go by last names. I guess most mutants go by their code names, right?
I don't have a good theory.
I don't know either.
Do we have any theory as to why Rogue would be in a coma from one hit?
That's kind of my question too when I saw her in the coma.
So basically, the whole point of this conversation is Jean is has Madeline the memories of carrying Cable, of the Cravens from being pregnant, all that sort of stuff that Madeline did because of their connection for the genetic connection. And then Nightcrawler makes her feel better by saying that, like, you know, anybody can be related, but it's who we choose is our family, which is a lovely
They
thing.
share memories after that too, though. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they seem to continue to share memories, probably through a telepathic bond or something. But she's like, I remember giving birth to Cable. It's like, what?
Yeah.
You weren't there. Like,
no, she was still. No, she wasn't there.
Jean.
But Jean wasn't there.
Like, why would she remember? Like, Maddie was already created from her genetic material in her memory.
Oh yeah,
Why
but
would
she remembered being pregnant with Cable and all that stuff, and that was, and who knows when they were switched.
That's weird, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when Jean was in her coma or whatever, she was connected somehow telepathically to her. So anyway, Nightcrawler makes her feel better by saying, like, we choose, like, anybody can be related, but it's we choose the family we have, which is
my theory for my whole life. Found family's where it's at.
Yep.
So Cable, Jean, and Cyclops go off due to the lead Cable has from one of his connections in the future about Bastion, where he's from. So they go off to the town where I can't remember where it was exactly, but somewhere in some small town.
I don't know either.
We see Val have an interaction, who has a broken arm now, have an interaction with Sinister, who she calls Mengele. Sinister has a loved
his line.
Yeah.
I loved his line.
I can't believe you don't have this. It's so good. It's okay. I mean,
it's like, I knew Mengele. He could have been so much more.
You make him sound.
Decided to
You make him sound like a cartoon villain, like way more of a cartoon villain. I knew Mengele.
Well, look, the way they process his voice is the most cartoonish in the show.
Yeah.
No, it sounds kind of hollow and robotic, but I think it's really good.
I think it works.
It is really good. It is really good, but it's still like the only voice in the show that's not just a human voice, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, for the most part. I thought I had the quotes here. Maybe I have to go back and find it. But oh wait, they're here.
But like Sinister's like disappointment in Mengele is that Mengele could have been even worse. He's just like, he could have been so much worse. It would have been great. Like yeah. Oh, Sinister.
Yeah, so he says I knew Mengele, and he was sort of like he could have been something else. So then she notices Magneto is stripped down to his underwear and held in that very similar X position, like in the future, the Days Future Past storyline. Is that storyline? Remember that iconic cover with Magneto on that X from the comics?
That's Wolverine.
That's Wolverine. Which one is
I'll pull up the issue here in a sec.
What was that Days of Future Past? What's that from?
No, it's just from a great. It's from like the Australian era.
Okay, so yeah, remind me of that because he's on like that big X. Also, you know, for a guy in his 60s, I'm guessing at this point, Magneto's pretty cut. He's looking pretty good. But this is where we get the insight because remember, we weren't sure in this show. They never really said he was part of World War II. They sort of made it like a vague war. This show leans into he definitely is from World War II, is where his trauma was from because he has the tattoo of the numbers on his wrist the Jews had in the concentration camp. So, you know, it was sort of vague before, and we sort of alluded to that a little bit in the episode 5, where he said not again, and we saw references to the concentration camps, but now it's 100% sure. And the number, do you notice the number is the same as it was in the movie? The number on his wrist? Magneto.
Oh, well, that's a good continuity to keep going. I like that.
And I think in the comics, too, if I recall
Even
correctly.
though I don't care for those movies, but...
No, but it's still nice. It's a nice nod.
But that's such a jarring image, too. And for Val, that's what changed her mind. She's just like, oh, crap. I just took part in strapping up a Holocaust survivor to, like, a crucifix, basically. And, like, this is dirty. She's like, this is maybe a bit too dirty for me. But what's Val doing there? That's what I want to know.
Well, she's this whole program was part of the United Nations. Operation Zero Tolerance was part of the United Nations. So it's part of whatever she's connected to with Bastion's thing. It's all through the UN. So that's what Guybrush was part of when he was in the other place, and that's why he was sent away. It's all part of that. So I still think there's something more to Val. She seems very upset by what she's done to Magneto specifically, and I still think it could.
Well, that part makes sense.
It
why
still
she's
could.
Upset makes sense.
Well, it still could.
Why
be
she was there in the first place?
Oh yeah, I know why she's there in the first place because she's part of the UN program.
You
But
think
yeah,
she's Mystique?
I still kind of do. I still kind of do.
I thought that was just a crazy Andre theory. I can't believe you're backing him up on that.
No, I think
No,
she's.
that's a crazy internet theory. It's
It's been
all over
Mystique
the place.
since from the get-go. Mystique.
Yeah.
There's too many X-Men who have interacted with her that would know immediately. That's my problem.
I think it'll
Wolverine
be revealed.
has showed that he can smell Mystique.
Yeah, but she could do something else around it.
What,
Who knows?
perfume?
I don't know. Watch the show. It'll be revealed, I'm sure. So
I mean-
you can't accept that, but you can accept the. All right.
She was
It's a little bit
gala.
conspicuous by Mystique's complete absence in the series.
She was at the gala with a whole bunch of people, incling Emma. Like, who knows?
We haven't seen a lot of the old villains. We haven't seen Pyro. We haven't seen Avalanche. We haven't seen Blob. We've seen cameos, but not actually them.
Yeah.
So we've seen Morph take their form. So I think one of the big reveals at the end of the show will be that she's Mystique all along, but we'll see. I think
it's so crazy to me. That would take a lot of explaining on why.
well,
like,
she
nobody
was
figured that out.
very interested in Rogue's reaction to Magneto's offering marriage. Like, I don't know why Val would care about that. So,
Why would Mystique?
but because it's her daughter,
Oh, well, yeah, fair point.
like her adopted daughter.
I mean, not that she cares a whole lot about her, but
So things move pretty fast now in the how this episode goes. But basically, Trish Toby shows up to try to make up with Beast about what happened without a camera crew. While this is going on,
Uncle Rizzo asked, "Did Andre outlaw Devin's sound bites?"
no, I like the sound bites. He just has a habit of cutting me off with them. That's my only issue. But anyway, they go to the childhood home of Bastion where they see pictures of him and find out basically through psychic imprints from his art on the walls that he was his father
Sebastian.
was Sebastian, which Sebastian is short for. Little Sebastian from Parks and Rec. Little Sebastian, the horse.
Yeah, little Sebastian. Yeah.
Nice. I like that. I never thought of that. That's a good like crossover art piece. I should do something about that. Little Bastion.
You got to turn a child Bastion into a horse.
It's like a little horse wearing the Bastion suit with the the black.
Oh,
and the
that's
little,
awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So we find out that Bastion's father was a janitor and was infected with a techno-organic virus from the future somehow. It's kind of
Not
vague,
the
but
techno-organic virus, but infected by Nimrod. Different.
but wouldn't it? But could it be? No, could it be the same thing? Like, isn't that the
No,
beauty of
because
time
if
travel?
If that
Couldn't it
doesn't
be?
seem so.
It could
No,
be.
because the
It
thing
could be a
about the
circle.
techno-organic virus is it infects you right away.
No, but this is like a futuristic version of it, one that's been evolved in the future. Like if
Yeah, okay, maybe.
it could be, I don't know. I'm just surmising.
Yeah,
So
that's a maybe.
Some version of Nimrod virus that Nimrod created from the future somehow infected this guy in the past. We'll probably find out how later.
But it doesn't seem to be a virus. It seems to be Nimrod. Like
Right, that's a good point. That's
Nimrod,
good.
because
But
he keeps talking to him.
To who, Sebastian?
Yeah, Nimrod keeps talking to him in his head.
Yes, but the dad didn't seem to be affected. It was just in his
Exactly,
DNA.
which is why I don't think it's a techno-organic virus, because it would have
No,
affected
maybe.
the dad. But it does show the thing that it has in common with this new Bastion techno-organic virus is the reason Bastion.
It would
did
be
this is
interesting
because-
if it was like a circle, like that Sinister created it under Bastion's guidance and put it in Cable and sent it to the future to make Bastion so that it could go back and make itself. It's kind of like a Terminator thing. I don't know. That's just an idea, but we'll see.
There
So
are
anyway-
theories that Bastion is Cable and Bishop's fault.
Is Cable and Bishop's what?
Fault.
Cable and Bishop's fault. Oh, so they did something to make him. All right, we'll see. We got 2 more episodes. Oh man, I'm so excited for tomorrow. So
I'll be watching it in 4.5 hours.
you gonna wake up for it?
Maybe. Or not sleep. Which has been like that lately. I've been so overtired lately, I haven't even been sleeping. I had probably an hour of sleep last night. Same with the night before. It's getting rough. Oh well. So, less sound bites.
That's okay, man. We got another week.
Give
So
us some, though. I have this one.
Will I ever be normal?
oh yeah, that's little Bastion in the future, in the past. So we saw Bastion had a rough time. He obviously, it's weird that he was like in school and he's pink and nobody seems to care. None of the kids.
He's a
seem to
little
be-
pink. He's a little pink.
He's definitely different color. His hair is also white. But anyway,
I went to school with fellas whose hairs was so blonde it was white. Like, that exists.
Aryan fellas? I'm kidding. So basically they find out that they meet his mother, who's this old lady in this dilapidated house. They get psychic prints from his artwork on the walls. That he was infected.
Interesting what she says to them when they first walk in the room.
But she was also terrifying from the moment they walked in. Can we agree on that?
Old people are in horror movies.
Old people alone in a room, terrifying.
Do you ever see the movie the Visit, the Shyamalan movie? Those old people are terrifying.
Yeah, that woman crazy. Okay.
Oh, Danbit, come out,
Yes.
come back in. Your audio's getting worse.
All right, I'll be back.
Yeah.
He sounds like Mr. Sinister. Don't yell at
Yeah.
him.
I didn't yell at him.
It's not his fault. You're pretty yelly. Poor guy. Poor guy to survive cancer, and you're yelling at him. Jeez, you're a monster.
Danbit and I are good like that.
All right. Well, I just think he might be better with me. I'm kidding.
Enjoy your holidays, Andre.
What holidays? I'm here all the time. I'm here every Tuesday. I don't get holidays.
Not on Tuesday.
I went away once and we still recorded the episode, so we had it done, which is good.
Yep.
It's nice. So anyway, we get this whole story about his back past. At the same time, we kind of get to see Val coming to terms with what they're doing to Magneto, and Bastion working with the other supervillains of the world. Then these some cameos I'm sure you did notice, telling them about his whole plan.
Yes.
So we see
there is no cameos. There is only Doom.
There's Dr. Doom. Victor Von Doom is one. Also, Baron Zemo is seen as well as one of the villains, which is really cool. So he's sort of basically telling the other nefarious world leaders what he's doing to get their support in this operation.
A random Chinese lady villain who
I feel like there's a reason why she shadowed out.
Yeah, like. Interesting choice. It's like, are they coming back to that, or why would you not just put? Is it supposed to be somebody we know, like somebody from
Or
Madripoor?
could be. Bastion has such good dialogue in this line where he says,
Overload their bandwidth. Too much to compute. Because when your skin's not in the game, apathy's your answer.
Yep. And which is true. And this is so good. He says,
it was a great line.
He's going to overwhelm regular humans with all these stuff immune issues to the point that they won't be able to care anymore and they'll just be apathetic to it.
Happens all the time.
Yeah, 100%. And
it's like they'll be like, oh, it'll feel like.
Well, he said at first, Gygrick was like a dog that was off its chain, and he killed Xavier, which wasn't part of the plan. You got sympathy and then tolerance, which he's disgusted at the word tolerance. He's like the human race got tolerance, and then he's like, but I'll overload their bandwidth, fill it.
I don't like the word tolerance. What did you think of this voice, though?
Do not mistake Doom's collusion as indifference to flagrant war crimes.
Not arrogant enough for me.
Also, more foreigny than I would have expected. He sounds Russian.
Well, I mean, he's from Latveria. He's Eastern European, right?
I know, but it's just...
all the movie depictions of him haven't put an accent on him at all. But I think that was a mistake.
I love too when Doom says that, because he said, like, the Bastion said the whole line, like, apathy is the name of the game, and then Doom says, do not confuse my collusion with like accepting of war crimes, and then and then Bastion says, next time I'll send a memo, like instead of the video mode.
Yeah. But he's dealing with unsavory characters like Zemo. Yeah.
Well, then Zemo says that the X-Men are allies to Kennedy, and that's going to cause issues.
Kelly, sorry.
Bastion's super cool in this. I love his voice. I love even the dialogue. Like when the mysterious Asian lady says, we request Cooper stay with you, because he is the UN, right? This is all a UN program, so to ensure that everything's going well. And he says nifty, like in a slow
nifty. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
he keeps saying that. Nifty.
Yeah, nifty.
A nifty butt, right?
And then he says, Genosha wasn't genocide; it was time management. He's got all these things about.
And he does. Then he starts to talk about like the mega part of it all, and like he's like,
Before today, this fella was your average Joe. With all this mutant loving, people like Joe turn to dial-up chat rooms to speak freely, to connect.
Which has probably one of the best lines, which I'm going to, unless you have it here, where Bastion says, "You just
sound like a dinosaur fretting the fate of an asteroid before impact."
Yeah.
And then Val says, "I'm worried you're the asteroid, Bastion."
Yes, which is a really good line. She says, "You sound like a dinosaur fighting the asteroid," and she says, "I'm worried you're the asteroid," which is pretty accurate.
He just smiles. Yeah, he's just like, "Yeah, I kind of am."
So we see Jubilee hanging out at the Dammit's back.
Yeah, it sounds great. It's fixed.
He's got headphones on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Headphones.
So we see we just passed.
Oh, were you not wearing headphones before?
No,
I wasn't, because I was just trying to not have them on, but they sound better with the headphones on, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
had I noticed, I would have got you to put them on right away. Not wearing headphones always screws everything up. But
Sorry about that,
that's
guys.
all right. All good.
Okay.
All good. You're not the first person to try to not wear headphones, and I'm just like, hey, put those in.
All right.
put those headphones in, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So we advanced ahead, Davin. We're at the point now where Jubilee's at the mall with Alex DaCosta, trying on a new outfit and then making Alex buy it for her.
Alex.
Robert, sorry.
Roberto.
Wow. Sunspot. I'm just going to call him Sunspot from now on.
That works. He goes full Sunspot in this one.
He
sure does.
I was waiting for that.
So
He's
basically,
like, yeah, I can fly. I was practicing.
So they start rolling out the Sentinel Prime program, where all the humans that have been affected with this virus, an organic virus, are going to become Prime Sentinels. Which,
and this is the scariest part about them, because they can reproduce other Prime Sentinels. That's what makes them scary. They are
and then we see
a
people
plan of a replacement human race.
We see Roberto's butler become one and attack them at the mall. We see random people over the planet, including parents sitting with their kids, both becoming them. But basically, at the time, Beast is talking to Trish Tilby about this
Trish Tilby.
About him trying to. I think we should always refer to her name as such. It's
I
funny.
think so.
Of course, yeah.
Tilby. Like I said, like Matt Berry from the IT crowd, or What We Do in the Shadows. You know,
I love Matt Berry.
Way of talking.
You ever watch The Toast of London?
Oh, of course, and The Toast of Tinseltown, the new series.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I hear you, Clem Fandango.
Yes, Clem Fandango.
So Beast is like, she's like, how do we find these people? And Beast is like, I'm about to. You know, he turns
Find
on the
out
button
momentarily
and sees them all over the world. There's tons of them, and then Trish becomes one right before his eyes, and then we see people over the world becoming them. Which
Trish
is great.
was Meg all along.
That's right. And then as Cyclops, Cable, and Jean Grey are discovering the truth about Bastion, his mom becomes one as well, which is very creepy. And then the whole village, he turned his entire town that he came from into them. So every single person in the town is one as well.
But they like picked on him and stuff, so you know he enjoyed that.
Yes. So at the same time,
I mentioned earlier, it was just weird. The first thing the mother said to them when they walked in the room, she says, "My son said you'd be here tomorrow."
Right.
Yeah.
I found that interesting.
Well, I
It's
think
kind of
she
a
thought
mysterious thing for her to say.
Well, she said it sounded like she was. It sounded like she's expecting people to help her move or something, because they had boxes done up and stuff. So I think like maybe that said, "I'll come get you tomorrow, Mom," or something. Like, so she thought they were helping her move or something.
Like
I don't
they
think
were the movers.
Yeah, I don't think she was expecting them as the X-Men.
I mean, she looks like a mover.
So I believe I forgot to mention
you, the big one. Help me out.
You're the girl with the big brain over there. Come on, move this stuff.
Move the stuff with your psychic powers.
Yeah.
So I forgot to mention that there were human protesters outside the mansion now that were protesting the fact that Xavier's still alive and the mutants are lying to them. We see a bunch of them become Sentinels as well and start attacking the school. So then there's this whole. I mean, you can kind of come through this pretty quick. So it's a lot of fighting, really. Yeah. But you get a big fighting scene with Wolverine and Nightcrawler.
And it is the best part of the
episode. Nightcrawler gets 3 swords.
Best part.
It is. I've been waiting for it for basically my whole life.
It's really awesome, and there's amazing sequences where like Wolverine hooks onto one of the robots, which flies him into almost space, and then he cuts his way out, and then he's cutting others as he's falling to the earth, slicing them apart. But
What image is that? I don't know.
We see
I got that
Nightcrawler.
sweet quote.
Why resist the inevitable?
Lady, I got 6 reasons why.
Yes. You know what's hilarious, Davin? As what often happens in this show is that while you played that, I had it on my screen at the exact same moment.
Oh, amazing.
So during the fight, Nightcrawler gets knocked into a bookshelf, which knocks some display off with swords on it, and then Nightcrawler's using those swords to fight them as well. He has one in each hand and one in his tail. And he's just
when
like,
those swords fell off the wall, I was cheering.
Yeah, we knew it was coming. Yep.
He's just bamfing around, slicing them all apart, but they keep reforming every time he slices them apart.
Very smartly, they only show 2 swords fall off the wall, so the third one's a
That's
surprise. Because it even surprised me, and it shouldn't have. I should have saw that.
It's pretty great, man. It's pretty
he usually
great.
fights with 2.
So, well, first he gets into the fight because the Sentinel. There's a great horror movie scene where Rogue's like in the coma, and you see all of the zombie Sentinels standing in front of her, looking down at her body, and it's very, very good horror movie imagery of like you're helpless, and then the people are coming to get you. It's very zombie movie-esque, which is really cool.
But there's other theories on why those people are not attacking Rogue. Have you seen on the internet? Like,
no, I didn't.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Nightcrawler wants to make sure that they get away from Rogue, so he starts bamfing them away from the school as he's fighting them, which is so cool. When they get pulled,
experience the bamf through Wolverine,
and Wolverine has his claws in one. Yeah, it reminded me of 2001: A Space Odyssey, where he's like, "Oh my god, it's full of wind."
So good. This episode's so good. Oh man.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So Sunspot is this is where he reveals his full capabilities of his powers. He can fly, and as the Sentinels are chasing him, he's carrying Jubilee around.
Not burning her.
No, but he mentions that he's been working in the danger room to explore his powers. So obviously, what they've done has worked.
She tries, she's like, I'm Abscissa now. I can do Abscissa stuff. She goes, poof, and just falls.
So we see Cable with Cyclops and Jean managed to escape in the Blackbird, but they're being chased by the Sentinels, which are attacking the ship and are making it going to go down again. And Jubilee Jean even says Beast's going to be upset. This is the 3rd Blackbird we've destroyed, in the last little while. But then, Cyclops is pissed and they go into the back and escape through a hatch driving a Porsche, which Cyclops has as well, which is really cool. And Cable even says, you have a Porsche? And Cyclops is the cool dad with a Porsche, which I think is really funny.
Yeah.
So they managed to escape. And there's a great scene where they're trying to go through a cave to get out, but then all of the Sentinels start breaking the wall so that the rocks fall in the way. And
show them why no one messes with the Summers.
Yeah, and then so basically, Cyclops leans out the window or he puts the top down, doesn't he? Yeah, except it's convertible.
Yeah.
So he starts shooting and using his beam to blast a hole as they're driving through it while they're shooting at the Sentinels behind them.
Oh yeah,
it's such a cool moment.
And then they blow up the Porsche, they lose the Blackbird and the Porsche all in 30 seconds. And that fire, there's the rubble of the Porsche, and Jean protects them from. Oh yeah, it's so good. It's yeah, Summers family.
Yeah, great moment. And just using their abilities, we see Sunspot crash his mom's dinner party while being chased by the Sentinels, asking for help. The Sentinels show up saying that they want him to come with them, that they're not going to hurt him.
Go with the nice Sentinels.
Yeah, the mom, instead of just accepting that her son's a mutant and admitting it to all of her socialite friends, tells him to go with them because she doesn't want to cause a fuss.
Crazy. We all hated his mother anyway, but now she's even worse.
It's such an allegory for Nazis. When they were come and people would, that old phrase, that old story where it's they came for these people and I said nothing, and they came for these people and I said nothing, and then no one was there to save me when they came for me. It's that thing. It's and that was an allegory for the Nazis during the SS times. But when they come to your house saying we're just going to take these Jews away, and you're not causing a fuss or trying to protect them and just saying, okay, go with them. That apathy is what, all it takes, it's a cliched line, but all it takes for evil to thrive is for good people to do nothing. And that's
this
truly
episode's
it.
Really tight around that theme.
Yes, very much so.
Really.
And the mother obviously just said, would rather save face instead of rustle any feathers, tell her son to go off with the fucking crazy people.
Yikes. Don't go to business school.
So as this insanity is going on all around the world, and they're fighting people everywhere. Val lets Magneto out because she feels guilty about what's been going on.
Mystique. Sorry.
Yes, sorry. Well, that would make sense. But
Makes
I don't understand why Mystique would be okay with this plan. You know what I mean?
It makes no sense. None of your guys' theory makes sense.
But
Davin, my theory was before all this stuff happened. Okay, calm down.
But you still stand by it?
I'm saying there's something up with her.
I mean, Mystique has been Magneto's right-hand person from season 1 through 5 the entire time, right? So
why?
Well, by season 4, isn't she working for Apocalypse?
Yeah, but so wasn't Magneto. So weren't they all working together?
Well, that's the thing. Maybe her involvement in all of this is connected to Apocalypse or something that'll be a surprise for later. Maybe she's going along with this.
With Gambit as a horseman.
Yeah. Okay.
Who are they going to have him now? Like John Colicos is no longer with us, and that was such a legendary Apocalypse voice. Replacing that one will be tough, if not impossible.
So we see like everybody struggling to overcome these Sentinels, and it almost seems like they're going to lose. But then Magneto, after let free, and then she's taken captive by Bastion, but says, it's too late. What's he going to be able to do now? We see Magneto go to the North Pole, and
I skipped this image, which I should have showed earlier. Sorry, but
that's the one I was saying. He's like,
yeah.
There he is.
So then Magneto go to the North Pole and let out and says enough. Is the only word he says. And obviously, when everyone's trying to talk to him, he never says any words. He doesn't talk to Bastion. He doesn't talk to Val.
Which was so stoic.
Causes an EMP that circles the world and kills all of the Sentinel Primes at once. But then we see several noted cameos from X-Men in the MCU animated series at large. Experiencing these EMTs as a past the world. We see Spider-Man, which is really
there he is, the man himself.
We see Omega Red as well.
Amazing.
Who's in his little chamber. Actually, at this point, at the last we saw Omega Red, he was left in the nuclear sub at the bottom of the ocean, wasn't he?
Yep.
So I guess he got out somehow. We see the Silver Samurai.
Yep.
We see, I feel like there's somebody else we saw. Is that it?
I think that might
Silver Samurai, Omega Red. So basically, this is the scene that Dav and I are arguing about later. We see them mopping up all of the bodies of the different Sentinels that are deactivated now back at the X Mansion, where Wolverine says, well, he did it. And Morph says, what? And he's basically like, Magneto start World War III. You're not World War III, but
you're totally wrong, Andre. It would be too much of a coincidence for one of these other random potential mutants or aliens or whatever to destroy the Prime Sentinels. That was with an EMP. That was clearly the most Magneto thing ever. It could only be that. Like, why would some random alien want to destroy the Prime Sentinels?
I'm not going to argue with you, Devin. It could be I'm not going to argue with you about this anymore. It doesn't make sense. It's dumb. Okay, I'm sorry, it's dumb. But Magneto says he went and did it, and Morph says
listeners are on my side on that one. All right.
Okay, I'm on the side of watching a good show. Of watching a show that doesn't leave any obvious holes in their plot line.
It's not.
That's what I'm in the line of. Okay, you're in the line of it's X-Men and it's as close as I'm ever going to get to being perfect. So it's all perfect, and I will see no fault in it.
I've seen a couple faults, like that line from Nightcrawler.
Every episode of this show, you give it a 10, Devin. Every episode.
Yep.
Even the one you said isn't as good as even the one you said isn't as good as others. So you've already objectively said no. Okay. If everything is special, nothing is, right? Am I right?
No, but
no. If everybody's perfect, then nobody is, right? Because we're all the same. So if there's no metric, if there's no metric for exceptionalism because it's all perfect, then you can't have light without dark. If there's not bad, there can't be good. So you can't say something.
I'm not going to apply dark where it doesn't exist.
It's an allegory, Dave, and I'm just saying if something if everything is perfect, then nothing is because it's all the same. There's no metric to say what's not perfect because it's all perfect.
10 isn't a large number. If we were ranking things out of 100, maybe there would have been a 99, a 97, a 98, perhaps. But 10 to 1 doesn't leave a lot of room.
90% to 100% is a pretty decent metric. I think you can.
That's a big drop. That is a big drop.
No, it's not. No, it's not. If it's a grade, it's not. If it's like if you're grading people, it's not. It's from an A+ to an A. Still good.
Tell that to Lisa Simpson.
No, I'll tell it to you because you can't accept that maybe the most perfect thing in the history of time and waiting for forever can have its faults. And that doesn't make it not awesome, not amazing, and not one of the best cartoons, if not the best ever made.
Andre, if I were to gather all the episodes in TAS and X-Men 97 that you ranked a 10, what you're telling me is you like them all precisely exactly the same amount. You wouldn't be able to pick an episode of those that you liked better than the others.
No, that's different.
I know that you would. No, it's not.
No. It is different because every single episode of this show is a 10 to you.
Yes.
But
that's not the same if every episode of the show is a 10. Every episode of this show is a 10. If I rated every episode, no, I didn't. I know what you're saying. You're saying you can have more favorite 10s than others, which is fine.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, but not if they're all 10s.
But if you love something,
this is still a part of the old series to me.
But if you love something that makes you so happy that you don't have to look for faults in it, isn't just it being a 10 just fine being a 10? Like you don't have to search for something that would make it a 9?
I'm not saying Davin, like I'm only, and I don't care that Davin's doing this. I'm just trying to illustrate that obviously he has a problem. He has a problem with like admitting that some things are better than others. They're all 10s. So like it doesn't matter. They're all going to be 10.
No, I said I could rank my 10s.
Then what's the point?
Because, Andre, there were many episodes of X-Men TAS I gave a 9 or an 8, and these episodes are all better than those. So why would I give them a 9 when it's better than the other 9?
Because things have changed. The metric has changed. This is the metric of the show now. This is the new normal for the show, and will be going forward. So this is the way we have to approach it.
Impossible to do. Like I could probably start.
No, it's not
this within itself by season 2 or 3.
Okay, well that's like saying
it's too soon.
That's like saying that's like comparing Star Trek the original series to Star Trek D Space Nine,
which
like decades have gone by
times a week over on Live Long and Podcast.
Writing decades and the target audience has changed. Like so, these are adult stories designed for people that like the show as a kid that are now adults. This show is definitely upscaled. It's not.
Yes, but if you're suggesting that Star Trek, because it's the newer Star Trek, is better because it's newer, you are very wrong.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that that society has changed over 50 years or 40 years, so that in that amount of time, the metrics have changed. This show, this show is what it is now, and the style, the substance, the themes, the art, all of it as it is now is what it's going to be going forward. So we need to change that to approach what we're watching now in order to properly rate what it is now and what it's going to be in the future. So if you're saying that's like saying I'm going to paint this brush with all because there's a lot of bad stuff in the last season. There's nothing bad about this season.
No.
Nothing. Like it's great. But
exactly.
Davin thinks but Davin thinks because if I say that there's maybe one small issue, that means that it's all not good. It's fantastic. But they can still make a mistake here and there, and I can have an issue with that.
Okay.
Or I cannot agree with the storyline.
Having one small issue, dropping something 10% is extreme.
It has to. That's the metric. It's ones to tens.
To me, there's a threshold of that though. Like something.
That's the point of the system.
10%.
That's the point of the 1 to 10 system. What's the point if we don't follow it? If you're saying
I am following it,
well then why did we put it in place in the first place? Why didn't we make a 0.5 system? Or make a 100-point system. Well, then this is what we have and what we have to work with. So you don't care. Like you've instilled it and you've made the structure of what you want it to be, but you're not following it. So,
I am. I stand by the fact that these are all 10s. Like I rank Star Trek episodes on podcast too, and I give a lot of them 10s. There's even a joke over on Live Long and Podcast. Like
all right. Well, all I'm saying is
give a lot of things 10.
This show is a new entity. It's a new series. It's called Season 1 of X-Men 97, not Season 6 of X-Men.
Can you not look at a movie from 1975 and a movie from now and judge them both as movies and how much you enjoy them both as movies without taking into context
100%,
that one is newer than the other? Then that's the same thing.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. It's like going to Star Wars then and saying, okay, Star Wars 90, the first Star Wars movie compared to the new Star Wars movie. And saying that nothing's changed as far as what you can measure, the effects, the acting, the actors, the storyline. We don't change our metrics. It's exact. I would approach the brush of how I would rate the newest Star Wars movie with the first one.
Okay,
exact same metrics. Nothing should change. The effects, nothing. The Mandalorian and A New Hope, same metrics. Nothing's changed. It's just history hasn't changed. Storylines haven't changed. Technology hasn't changed. They're the same. If that's the case, just going by visuals alone, the new one would blow the old one out of the water.
Yes, but that's why you don't take them into that context. Like you take
okay.
Like I don't think you're gonna say these new Star Wars movies are better than the old ones, just because they look.
The storylines aren't. No.
Exactly.
But every part of this series is better. The stories are better. The effects are better. But it's
except
all...
for a few outlier episodes. There were a few 10s in TAS that stand up to this.
No, but not for
many.
you. Not for
Two
you,
or
because
three.
these are all
Yes.
10s. No.
Yes.
This series is all 10s for you so far.
Yes.
So no.
Because every episode... Follow me here, Andre. Because
No.
every episode of this series is as good as those top 2 or 3 episodes of TAS.
Is not. But that's what I'm telling you. That is not what we can measure it on anymore. You have to measure it against each other. It's going to be this going forward. It's not going to be that anymore.
That's fine.
This is a new show.
And there still being new could still have clunkers. I don't think so, but who knows with the new writers coming in, right? But Bo DeMaio seems to be firing on all cylinders.
Okay.
So
this is a 9 to me.
All right. Well, for me, 10.
Yep.
This one seems to be the consensus.
I know it's going to
to
be 10 for every single one.
Well, yeah, from here on out it is. I mean, it's just 3
No, for you, they're all going to be 10. They're going to be season 2 will all be 10s. There's no point in you even giving X anymore.
We'll see. We'll see.
No, there won't.
Very
There's
upset
no point
about this 10 thing.
No, I'm not. It's more about that you're trying to make me out to be some contrarian when I'm not. I'm broaching the whole show on the fact that this is a new entity. So,
but what bothers me is you think I'm skewing this and that I don't actually enjoy these episodes.
No. No, I just don't think.
Which I do.
No, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I just don't think you're capable of any discerning thoughts beyond that. This is all perfect. I love it.
But I loved X-Men just as much when we were reviewing X-Men 92.
Mom, Dad.
No, you didn't. You gave you gave negative episodes. You gave
but I still loved the X-Men just as much then.
But you didn't give those ones X's.
That's what I'm saying, because some of them weren't good, but I still love the X-Men, so my love for X-Men wasn't clouding my judgment as you think it is now.
No. It's not about your love of X-Men. It's about your love of getting something as close as, like you're loving the fact. This is
that it's great.
No. You're loving the fact that you're getting as close as X-Men comics X stories could possibly be in a show. Is you're getting that now.
TAS was that too, but yeah.
Because of that, no, but like this is significantly better.
It's just,
significantly better because it's designed for adults. It's not designed for children.
Yeah, agreed.
So because of that, you will not you're willing to forgive any small issues. This is a small issue.
Yes.
It's just one that I have with it. I am not.
Yes.
Because I'm holding this up to a higher standard of fiction,
issues
not
are just smaller than they are to you.
Yeah, but if this was on a show that wasn't an X-Men show, I feel like you would give it an issue. You would give it a lesser point for some things that you found problems with. Like you would freely admit that the Jubilee episode is not as good, but you wouldn't give it a lesser rating.
I would have if the storm bit hadn't come in at the end, which I thought saved the episode for me. It added weight.
Well, it's fine. It's like I don't argue about it anymore. I'm just saying
because I did find the Mojo, and I fucking love Mojo, but I did find it a bit hollow and fan servicey that bit.
Yeah, but I agree.
But.
Yeah.
Anyway, Magneto caused the MP. Charles crashes into the with his bug outfit. I do love that space bug outfit. Crashes into the building.
Yeah.
And says to me, my X-Men, basically calling them all to him.
Oh, I got that line. I got that line.
Of course.
And I got this line. I got this line too.
Magneto actually did it.
What? Saved our hides?
No. Declared war.
I hope that I'm not too late.
He's definitely too late.
To me, my X-Men.
Charles is like, I was living my best alien life. So I think ordering ranking is greater than ranking number. Ranking numbers are too subjective. IMO.
Fair.
Oh, rankings of episodes, like putting them. Yeah, that would work, but then you have to wait till it's all over.
Yeah, then you gotta wait till it's all over. Which we will do. We're going to have a season retrospect.
In which Davin takes all the perfect episodes from the show, in his opinion, and puts them in a rating schedule.
Not perfect. A 10. That doesn't make it perfect. Because,
Davin,
like I said...
that's the point of a rating system. If something's 100%, it's perfect. If you do tests, you get 100%. You got them all right.
It's because we don't do decimal points. I guess this is why they do decimal points over on Live Long and Podcast. Because...
No, I'm not saying you don't need decimal points. You can give it a 9. 9 out of 10 is very good.
Yes, but like that's an egregious drop for me.
Okay. Well, then you need to revise.
It has to be a pretty glaring.
Then you need to revise the system you created for this show.
No, it's just like a 10% drop is big. There could be something. Like I even conceded I could have maybe dropped Motendo down to a 9, but that's tough. Like to me, like the egregious parts of that weren't even egregious. It was just a bit hollow, and then until the end.
Man, the reasons you hate some movies on your other podcasts are so arbitrary. It's amazing. You're such a myriad of inconsistency. I love it so much because humans are. I am too. I'm sure you could like draw all the shit that I've said on this show and be like whatever. But like
I have X-Men glasses and Star Trek glasses, but that doesn't always work out. If something does happen in this series that I find egregious, it will be extra egregious to me. Like when Star Trek fucks up.
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's the same thing. I love Star Trek just as much as X-Men. If this show does something that is truly egregious to me, you will see a 4 rating or a 2.
No, I don't mean it as in I don't think you would rate it that. I just think that so much attention and detail and care is put into the show. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This show is just pretty much perfect.
Yeah,
it's pretty much 10s across the board.
Pretty much it is, yes. The lowest rating I gave it was an 8, which is amazingly good.
Yeah.
An 8 out of 10
is amazingly good.
Oh my God. 60 is not amazingly good. 50 is not amazingly good.
I would say 60 is bad.
No, 50 or less is 50 is so. The system we have means 50 is middle of the road. Anything below 50 is bad.
But middle of the road's not very exciting.
No, it's not either. No. But that's the point of the system. So 8 is closer to 10.
MZ thinks Xavier snuck away from the land and had no clue how to land.
Yeah. I wonder why he crashed. Like he just crashes.
What happened?
The building's already fucked up, but he just crashes like straight into it, which I thought was really funny. Yeah.
I arrived in time. He was in such a hurry, he just couldn't slow down.
No one taught me how to land.
Yeah. Oh shit. So yeah, well, let's do our rankings here. We only need Dan's, but let me just hit the thing anyway.
Each of us will have to look into his own heart and decide.
Decide, Dan.
Decide
which parent you love more.
Yikes! God, Mom, Dad, you guys are putting me in a place. I'm gonna say 10.
Yeah, sorry you are on such a contentious episode.
However, if I were to go back,
it's not contentious. Basically, I know how it is now, and that's fine. They'll all be X's forever.
No, let me say 10 for this. But if I were to go back and say that one wasn't a 10, it would be Motendo because
Would you have given it an 8 or a 9? Would you give it an 8, or if you would have said, well, it's still dropping at 10% is too much, so I'm going to make it a 10 anyway?
The sirens outside are still so loud. I don't know. Let me come back.
Regardless of your answer, you're still going to be invited on the show, dude. Don't worry about it.
You're going to love my mushroom gravy at Christmas.
Oh, yes. I can't wait.
What? What is this, 10. Bro?
Christmas happening. Anyway, 10 for this episode. I love it.
Right on. What would you have given the Nintendo episode if you were here?
I'm sorry?
What would you have given the Nintendo episode if you were here?
I wouldn't have given it a 10 for sure, because I definitely thought I'm not a huge Mojo fan, and the whole episode is
it felt disjointed. I think it would have been better if they'd done a Mojo episode and then a Storm episode.
It felt pushed to me, like, all right, people knew they liked Mojo, from seasons past.
Yeah, they didn't have enough time to really flesh it out.
They literally could have done Life Death Part 1, and that would have been a whole episode. And for me, that would have been much more exciting than.
Yeah, I agree.
Me too.
That's kind of where I'm at. I like life, knowing. I think we talked about it last time the first time I was here, and I showed you the big Storm crying from the cover X-Men 290. where she's crying. So like I love that whole like Storm Forge stuff. That like gets
It's
it
so good.
for me. It's so good. So when they threw Motendo in there and Life Death Part 1, I'm like, what does this mean? Like, what's Motendo? And I'm like, oh, we wasted half of this on Jubilee going to fight with, Mojo. I'm like, I would have rather just Storm. So I don't know what I would have given it, but it would not have been a 10. And that's all I'm going to say to stop.
It's okay.
What saved the Motendo to the Jubilee act? That was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
definitely.
good character to growth for Jubilee, where she can actually have useful powers now. But
Yeah.
kind of useless.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
She blew up. If they're ever attacked by a large VCR, she had them covered.
It's true. It's true. And in the 90s, that might happen.
It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be a great episode where like Mojo makes a giant VCR attacker.
Well, he did suck her into a video game console. She should have been able to spot that thing just as easily, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on to X points. I'll start. I don't have the picture here, though. I thought I did. There's a picture. There's a point where Bastion's there, and there's just unknown woman that they don't reference or say her name.
The black woman, the bald black woman.
Oh yeah,
yes. Yeah. And the internet's calling her Jada Pinkett, but she's not Jada Pinkett.
That's mean.
Jada Pinkett's kind of mean. So
yeah, that's the meme. It's just like Bastion surround themselves with all the villains: Doctor Doom, Baron Zemo, Jada Pinkett. But no, that's Karima Shapendar. When all this is settled.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, is that what you said?
What's her name? Omega Sentinel? That's her?
Yeah, that's her. That's Karima for sure. For sure it is. She's who like the most notable Prime Sentinel in the comics.
I guess that makes sense, but I didn't even put two and two together. God,
that's why she didn't say anything, and that's why she was there. Like it was so. Why was she there? Like because when all this is said and done, when they defeat Bastion, she will be the lingering Prime Sentinel threat.
Wow.
For the seasons 2 or 3. So the Prime Sentinels will not be done once that'll be Karima will be back, and she'll probably be working with like a version of Nimrod.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'd bet money on that too.
That's my mind is blown. I did not even see that. Cool.
Andre.
Oh. So there's a line here. Where was it? Bastion. He says, you just had to let the dog out. Do you understand the futility of your bleeding heart of fighting the future? And then Val Cooper says, you're a monster. And Bastion says, I was born this way. Now, can you think of any popular pop star that has a song called Born This Way that refers to her fans as monsters?
Oh my God. Lady Gaga is going to be in X-Men 97 season 2. Can't wait.
I think that's a subtle reference. Maybe Bo DeMaio's a fan. But Lady Gaga calls her fans little monsters, and,
right? Of course, yeah.
And "Born This Way" is is probably her most famous song. Mm-hmm. So
I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, so
nor Nicki Minaj. This is wild.
So I'm learning things.
That's why I thought
music I'll never listen to.
It really stuck out to me that I was like, oh, Gaga's talented, man. Whether you like her style of music or not, I'm not a massive fan of pop music, but she's good. Yeah. So anyway, I was like. What I'm really getting into lately is Dua Lipa. She's solid. But
she is solid.
But anyway,
she's very attractive.
Yeah, that's not the measuring stick I'm going by. But yeah, she is. But so anyway, I just thought that was a subtle nod to Lady Gaga. Maybe DeMaio's a fan or something. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But it seems odd that it's placed that way.
Yeah, he's part of my family. I'm sure he's a fan of Mother Monster. So yeah.
You got one for us?
So, the butler in the house of Roberto, does he sound like anyone to either of you?
I didn't really hear him talk much.
Yeah, I don't remember him saying anything.
Okay, go back and listen.
No,
when he becomes a Sentinel, he does.
No, not that part. When he's in the house, he sounds extremely, extremely familiar to me. That I'm like, and I literally listened to it 3 times, and I told the husband, I'm like, you know who that is? And he said, no. And I'm like, I'll tell you who it is. Related to the X-Men family. Old British. Who could it be?
Old British.
Related to that.
Ian McKellen or something?
I swear it's Ian McKellen. It sounds
What?
so much.
Do you think they actually brought in Ian McKellen for a butler
I don't
role?
know. And I've looked everywhere. I've looked all over the net. It sounds so much like him. Anyways,
Was it not in the credits? Like the credits often shows the other roles at the end.
I didn't do enough research and at that point, which I should have done. But my God, it's like literally the 3 times I watch it, I'm like, it sounds so much like him. Go back and listen to it. I'm like, I swear.
Oh, you know what? It's probably just Ross Marquand then, because he can like mimic anyone's voice. It seems.
Oh, it could be.
Now I'm looking up him, Ross Marquand. Okay, but I'm like, I was shocked. I'm like, this guy sounds so much like Ian McKellen that it would be wild if he's in the animated 97 series. So
that would be wild.
It would be wild if we find out it is him. But if you find out it's Ross Marquand, that would also be interesting. But I could not get over how much he sounded just like Ian McKellen.
Like bringing in Theo James seemed like kind of a big swing for them for just like
he's so good in it though. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
you know, they get voice actors. He's an actor.
He's been a voice actor.
And some of them are. I mean, they all are. All the like George Booz is a great actor. Lenore Zann's a great actor. They're all great actors.
Theo James did a lot of voice work in games as well.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah,
well, he's got a great voice. Well, makes sense.
Yeah,
he does cold and calculating, creepy very well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just Bastion is so good. I just like hang off every word that he says.
Yeah.
MZ says it sounds like Patrick Stewart. I would have picked up on Patrick Stewart. He definitely doesn't sound like Patrick Stewart.
Says just like him.
Okay. What was my next point? Hold on. I got
what you got. What you got, sucker?
I got something. It's probably not as good as the Karma one. Oh well. So Magneto was right. Little plug. Go get some Magneto is right merch from.
Oh come on,
the Redbubble.
I just did. Yeah,
was right.
Your X point is to hawker shit.
Yep.
All right. Wow.
Well, and to call back to that whole thing, like that was one of the biggest things in the X-Men comics of the last kind of 25 years was the whole Magneto's right thing, the riot at Xavier's and like, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of nice that, you know, we had our merch out there before it entered the zeitgeist.
That's
again.
true.
Like our Magneto was right stuff was out there for a while.
Well, it's mostly because I love Grant Morrison's run and was where that came from. So.
Yeah, so, you know, we were ready. We were ready. Were we going to be ready for the next X-Men zeitgeist moment? I don't know. Maybe.
So.
Never know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Maybe the next one will be Xavier is right, because we got that too.
We do have that.
Xavier's going to come down and save the day, and everyone's going to be like, oh, Xavier was right all along.
Well, if the show is tending to like get back to its roots and make Magneto the villain, then the show sets up well why he's back to being a villain. If that's where we go at the end of this, but we'll see.
He'll be forced into that position now just because he just declared war on humanity.
Agreed.
I mean, did he? He said on EMP that killed all of the things attacking the mutants.
Yeah, but the world governments don't so much care about the mutants as much as they care about their power grids.
Yeah, but
unfortunately,
it's not necessarily a direct declaration of war on the humans. They're just going to see it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he wasn't trying to declare war on humanity at all, but
well, then
Wolverine's point was that's what he did. His actions did that. So
yeah, okay, and he knew. He knew he wasn't dead the whole time.
Not the whole time in that moment. But
okay. Yes. My next point is the guy, the talking head pundit on the TV is William Stryker.
Yeah,
it says right at the bottom. That's
that was the other cameo.
Yeah.
And he looks like he did in the God Loves Man Kill storyline, which is very cool. So I'm hoping that we may see him again, and they'll do the whole that whole storyline next season, which would be awesome.
It's almost too late. Like they've done too many things like that already without Stryker.
Or maybe just make him a character or a villain in some other right. I think doing the whole. I think now that we have Nightcrawler, doing a whole story about Faith and about mutants and about all that sort of stuff with Stryker and Nightcrawler in the center would be a very interesting story.
That would be actually. I hope they do that. That could be interesting. Good call.
Cool.
All right, what do you got there?
So my second one is not great because we already talked about this. Polaris and Rachel showing up. It just seemed so great to see them as like in the future as older, powerful women, which X-Men has been doing for years now, just really elevating women and even older women.
X-Men has always done that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, just great to see them like elevating these women who have been so powerful for so many years, and just the older version of them just continuing to thrive. So it's not the best X-Point, but X-Point number 3 will be better than this. But I like the fact that, yeah.
I think that is a good X-Point, because it's like a lot of the, I don't know if you call them, a lot of the, like, I don't know, internet basement dweller kind of comments you see on the internet.
Basement dweller.
You see these.
What part of your house?
I'm in my basement right now. Yes, I know I'm in my basement right now, but I do not dwell here all the time. I go upstairs and I look after my children. So, and my gardens outside. I
know.
outside.
I know you have a life inside down.
Right.
I thought I couldn't.
I know it was a fine point, not a good X-Point, but a fine point. No, but like you see, there's a lot of rumor on the internet right now that they're looking for, like, a showrunner or a movie director of like someone of color or something, or a minority, and they want to focus on women characters, and the internet's all like, what? They want to focus on women characters, and I'm like, dude, have you ever read the X-Men?
Yeah,
like,
please.
On most X-Men teams, the men are outnumbered by the women, and it's always been that way, except in the original lineup.
Yeah, but since the 80s, it's been like that. Since like
and like
Outback,
most of the best characters, like like, man, all the characters you want to see, like Storm and Polaris, who we saw, and Rachel. Rachel's from the future, so it makes sense we see her.
Yeah.
But, Dazzler, Psylocke, yeah, man, like, Disco Dazzler, gotta love the Disco Dazzler.
You got it.
Come on now. But yeah, so like, you know what? I'll make that my X-Point. This branching off yours, like, that is ridiculous criticism. Of course, the X-Men, having it kind of directed or written by, someone from a minority that may understand those issues better than Bryan Singer, is a good idea as well. So,
yes,
they know what they're doing. It looks like they're steering X-Men.
Bryan Singer's a problematic character, but he has a lot of issues. Like, he's a gay man, so he obviously has some kind of I'm not saying he's not problematic. He definitely has his own issues now that are aside from that. But I think, speaking as to someone who may have maybe framed at the time period, he
never understood the X-Men. But yeah, fair enough.
My lips are sealed for many reasons.
Fair enough.
You don't need to seal anything on this show.
I got a bunch of points, so I may have to bring up a few extras later. Is this my last one, or will this be?
You can have the fourth.
Okay.
So.
The mall that they went to is the same mall from the first episode of the series where they fight the Sentinels.
How do you know?
Because they're at Wasserman Store, which is the store they were in the first episode in the mall when all that went down.
But wait,
there's an X-Point.
Who's Wasserman? Like, why is that?
Wasserman was the guy that created the theme song.
Yeah, we got it.
So the Sabins kind of
Mike Wasserman.
Ron Wasserman.
Ron Wasserman. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I hope to get him on the show eventually. I'd like to talk to him.
Haim Sabin and Shuki Levy were claimed credit for it, but apparently it was originally him.
What they did?
This is what IMDb is saying. So who knows? Doesn't mean it's totally.
I wouldn't put it past Haim Saban.
Also, another thing I'll add into this is Juggernaut makes an appearance as Morph, which is fun.
Yes,
first time
cool.
We've seen Juggernaut in the series. I mean, it's Morph as Juggernaut, but it's still cool seeing Juggernaut.
All right, what you got for us, damn it?
All right, so the fight scene, which we've already talked about, and Wolverine says, I got 6 reasons, and then Nightcrawler shows up and says 9, and the fact that he has the 3 swords, and then which 6 plus 3 is 9.
Yes, that's correct.
Saban, the biggest '90s X-Men villain. True. Didn't pay his writers. All right.
Right. So he Nightcrawler says 9, and 9 in German. Also, no, which was like, which to me in my mind was like, oh hell no, and he was like, no. Like, you're not going to come to us.
I agree.
No. Yeah, I was like, that is amazing. And I remember saying...
Great double entendre.
A double entendre. I was like, this is the best. 6, 9. And he was like, oh, no. This is not happening.
Yeah,
And
that's
that was
the best scene. It's like
the best scene.
Oh, that whole fight is fantastic.
Fantastic. Yep, agreed.
So
Yeah,
it's
so
gonna
that
be
was
tough
my
to top that.
that was my last X point, but it was amazing. It was so good to see.
My last one, I mean, it's obvious, but we saw the man, the only person I may elevate above the X-Men at times.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
So cool.
He's the man. And they did, Bo DeMaio did, I mean, it's obvious, but he did come out and say, or somebody did that is.
The guy that
TAS
I think the showrunner for the original series has been very vocal online saying that he wants
John Semper Jr. Yeah,
he bring it back. And that guy's kind of a hero because he was told by Fox to make it like a not disposable, but like no storylines that go longer than the episode they're in or anything like that. And he said fuck that and did it anyway because he wanted to make the best version of that show he could have, and he really did.
And they brought in like just top tier acting talent all the time in that series. The money they must have spent on voice acting was crazy on that.
Oh
series.
man, the Kingpin was
man,
it was crazy.
All kinds of stuff.
All right, you want me to dump the rest?
Kingpin was Roscoe Brown, right?
It was cool.
Yeah,
Roscoe.
All right, so I got more points. My last few points.
You got the last one.
Yeah,
I got a couple more, but Jubilee's outfit that she selects in the series. Did that look familiar to you guys? You comic fans?
It did. Yep.
It's her vampire episode.
Exactly. Yep.
She wears in the comics from that storyline, which is really fun. Yeah, which is kind of neat.
Collar.
The black with the pink on the collar underneath the yellow coat, which is I really like. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it sort of elevates her to be a more serious character.
Yeah.
And my final point is when they're in Bastion's room and looking around the artwork he did as a kid, there's a bunch of notes about the Stark Expo that he went to that are there, as well as a little toy of the Machine Man, which I thought was lovely.
What? I didn't notice the Machine Man.
He's there.
Because he was at the expo. No, he wasn't. They showed the Stark Expo in the MCU, and the Human Torch, the original Human Torch, was there.
Yes, he was. But in this one, you see a little Machine Man toy in amongst his toys.
Wow.
So I thought that was a nice. Aaron Stack making an appearance.
Yeah,
my favorite member of Next Wave.
Name two other members of Next Wave.
Dirk Anger and Boom Boom. There you go.
All right. Was Boom Boom on that team?
Yes.
Oh.
Elsa Bloodstone.
Boom Boom. There's another cool female character we should see in the X-Men.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Man. Next Wave was a great show. I mean, a comic. It was like obviously a joke. A comedy. Cat Marvel was on it too, right? The binary,
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I just named the whole team. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you did. Fair enough. Well done.
Good job.
And you got the final X points.
There was the Captain too, which was the other guy who was made for the series. This guy just called the Captain.
Yeah, but he was Captain America essentially.
No, he was created for that series.
Yeah, but he looked like Captain America.
No, he was just he didn't. He just was weird. Like
didn't he?
They're kind of making fun of like how this Captain everything is like in the Marvel universe. This guy was just the Captain.
Okay.
Well, they called him previously. He was called Captain, and then they blanked out what the words were. It's apparently they were so disgusting that they couldn't say them. So he's just like a really foul kind of dickhead. They fought Fin Fang Foom and MODOK and a bunch of other people, but it was Warren Ellis wrote it. Stuart Immonen did the art.
Great!
Immonen.
Stuart Immonen's great artist.
Yeah.
It
was basically Ellis taking the authority and making a Marvel version, but with a lot more comedy.
All right, let's whip through this last bit because we're running long in the tooth.
All right.
Hey, check this out.
Hey, check this out. I didn't actually have time to pull the issues out. Oh well.
It's okay. We know what you're talking about.
Well, I was just gonna follow up on what Bo DeMaio suggests we all read before these next two episodes, and go read Fatal Attractions just for your own benefit anyway, because it's amazing. It's it's a top 3 X-Men story for me, probably. I
used to love when I was a kid. I only had like a whatever comics I can get a hold of, and I remember that one was like one I always reread a lot because it was one of the few.
Because it had the holofoil,
the lenticular holofoil little card on the cover.
You're gorgeous. Oh,
actually, I'm sure I have.
You think the series will end with Magneto pulling all the adamantium out of Wolverine?
God.
Yes, I do.
It'd be cool.
Like it's the. There were other things that happened in Fatal Attractions, but not big enough things. I don't think. I mean, other than like what they do to Magneto.
But did Exodus dance?
They messed with
some.
I had that one too, actually.
Yeah,
Random.
All 5 of them are great. Yeah.
Geez, it actually looks pretty good on screen too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, random. He's been in this show.
He sure has.
The old series. Yeah. But yeah, check out Fatal Attractions.
Yeah.
For the Wolverine stuff and the Magneto stuff. It's Magneto at his most savage.
Agreed.
And that's what we're gonna get now.
Yeah.
Now they've brought up all the friggin' Holocaust trauma in him and shit, and now they're gonna get the worst version. Look out!
Oof.
Like they forced his hand. It's like he said. It's so perfectly written because it's like he said, "Don't make me let you down." They did. Yep. They made him let them down so bad. Oh man, because Val was there when he said that, and Val was there. Oh man,
I just want to go out there on a limb and say one person caused all this. One
Bastion.
Yes, but like not all of humans did this, or not even a huge group of humans did this. One Sentinel robot from the future did this.
Val was working with him.
Yeah, fair enough.
And she was one of the people he warned directly to her face.
But she let him go after it was too late.
Yeah, so he might spare her, but I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where they go with it, man. It's fucking great storytelling.
Yeah,
really is. It's just gonna those last 2 episodes, especially. I suspect the very last one is gonna be so intense.
Well, it's great that they're setting it up for second season 2, right? So,
yeah,
like that we know a second season.
Bodemayo said the destruction of Genosha was like small potatoes compared to what we're about to see. So it has to be ripping the metal out of Wolverine almost. Like I'm struggling to think of how many things could be bigger and like more emotional to the audience, you know.
And the Wolverine story front's been so quiet that I think that
exactly.
Yeah,
they've been saving that. I'm saying that from the start. They're saving Wolverine for the last episode, and he's going to do the most Wolverine shit ever, which almost happened in this episode. Like that was some great Wolverine shit.
Yeah,
but that was the warm up. Yeah, that was the warm up.
I think we might get our Wolverine-centric episode next season. You know, the one where it's just him.
Yeah, we will when he's struggling with the fact that he doesn't have adamantium on his bones.
And
he has no nose.
Oh yeah, you think they'll make him look that way in this series?
That was for me. If they make noseless Wolverine, that's when you'll see my 10s go away, Andre.
That was a very 90s look with that rip thing and all that stuff.
It's a 90s show.
I know, but they still have to appeal to the modern sensibilities with it too.
There will be no 10s as long as Wolverine has no nose. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I think you'll find a way.
No, I hate that. I even got rid of most of my comics with Wolverine with no nose.
Just because of that?
Yes, I can't stand looking at it. I hate, and those stories weren't great anyway.
I don't
like then eventually Elektra showed up, and Elektra was trying to help him. I'm like, what is going on here with Elektra and Wolverine? Like,
oh come on, man! You got to accept that comics are going to have ways where they just suck sometimes. Like,
yeah, you know, I'm fine with that, but I don't want the sucky stuff in this show.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, no thanks. Like, just like Jamil, if he were here, would say we don't want too much Grant Morrison in this series.
That's fine.
Jamil will be here next week. I'm just stoking the fires.
Jamil's entitled to his opinions. I know they differ. That's fine.
But
can I jump in now for?
Yep.
So, as Jamil would say, too much. But I thought this was the best point to jump into the whole omnibus. So I went on Free Comic Book Day and got a discounted omnibus rate on Grant Morrison's Soul Run of New X-Men, because I was like, let me tell you, after the whole Genosha episode, I had to go back and read this all over again. So I'm kind of.
I mean, you only really need the first few issues to get that into you.
So that's kind of what I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I mean, like I said, I got the whole omnibus because I was like,
that's a beautiful omnibus.
I have to get it. Like so. Anyway, so I got it, and I've read through, Emma surviving, and I'm like, all right, what's going to happen with Emma now? And I want to see what's going to compare to Emma in the rest of this season. I feel like she's not going to do much, but maybe in next season, we're going to see some more of Emma showing a little bit of her personality that we saw in Grant Morrison's run. So
that would be great.
That's what I'm hoping for.
He wrote a good Emma, Grant Morrison.
Yeah, he wrote a great Emma. So, anyways, so that's kind of when you said, find a book. I'm like, well, let me find a book. Then I found the omnibus during, like I said, Free Comic Book Day, and I'm like, this is it. I'm bringing this to the talk. So yeah,
free omnibus sold.
Free omnibus, yeah. It was good.
I actually would have thought the Grant Morrison omnibus would have been thicker than that because he was on that book for a while.
That's not the whole series. It's volume 1.
Is it
not? No. It starts on like episode. I'm sorry, number
114
or is 114, and it goes to. I'm not sure what number, but it wasn't through all of the new.
It doesn't end with what is it called? Or something.
No, Is for Extinction. Yeah, it's the first part.
But
yeah, we're on. It looks like episode. Yeah, we're all the way to 154, 155. I think was around the last. So, but yeah, that was
might be all of them.
Yeah, that was my pick. So,
yeah, right. Well, Andre loves that pick. All right,
sure do.
What you got for us, Andre?
Well, submitted for your approval. A what if scenario in which we do see a beast arrive in a disparate future with a baby, forced to work his way through a barren wasteland, protecting this baby from all the attackers and make a little money along the way. I thought that would be a really cool story that we're never really going to get out of this. And because of that, it reminded me of Lone Wolf and Cub.
Lone Wolf and Cub. I knew you were going to say Lone Wolf and Cub. It comes up on this series show a lot.
It's a great series. And I don't think I've ever suggested this particular series. So
no, you've just mentioned Lone Wolf and Cub a few times.
It's fantastic. So the movies are fun. The Frank Miller's a big fan. This is before he went nuts, so like pre-nuts Frank Miller, which is also nice. So it's and he did the covers for these two before he was doing Donald Duck comics for some reason, or Scrooge McDuck comics.
Donald Duck and Scrooge McDuck comics are surprisingly good. Like they would.
Yes, the Carl Banks ones were. I doubt the Frank Miller ones are. So. Anyway, they're great books about a guy whose family gets murdered and he's left with his son, and they go and he becomes a Ronin and goes around taking jobs as a bounty hunter, killing folks with his son in tow. There's like 15 of these volumes, which collect the entire series. And then there's a sequel series, which has 4 volumes like this one. But just the idea of like future future Bishop with baby Cable, like in a Fury Road type scenario going around.
Didn't work out that way though.
Would have been cool if it was.
Yeah.
That was my suggestion. Go read Lone Wolf and Cub, a classic.
All right,
classic manga and classic comic.
This is our longest episode of the season, but do you want to drop a movie on us anyway, Andre?
Well, we talked to George for like 40 minutes, so
yeah.
Yes,
true. I told. Yeah,
it's okay. Whatever.
Well, let me play the thing.
If you don't like the movie,
change the channel.
Let me remind you of a distant past, the distant era of 2013, very long ago, in which we told a tale as old as time, in which a man and his friends encounter robots disguised as humans that look like people they know, and slowly parts of their party are replaced by humans while they're on the world's most epic pub crawl. The movie is The World's End by Edgar Wright, starring.
That's a good movie, actually. Yeah.
Which, like, the idea of people in your life suddenly being replaced by robots. I also could have suggested the Invasion of the Body Snatchers from the 70s, but this which is also a fantastic movie. But I don't know.
I thought that's what you were going to say for a minute.
These ones are robots, so it was a little more relevant. So they're alien robots, but they're robots nonetheless. Great movie, really fun. If you like Edgar Wright's whole thing, and especially his whole thing with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, it's a great movie.
I like
a lot of fun
movies.
And also for people that get a little lost in nostalgia, it's actually a good reminder about why that's not necessarily the best way to live your life.
True enough.
Obviously this whole show is nostalgia, but not to go too far with it.
Not everything. All right.
Not to give them all 10s,
Now is for you to contact your
I'm kidding, David.
I can't wait for me and Jamil to fight you next week.
I don't need to engage that strongly on this. That's fine. If you guys feel that passionately about it, go ahead. They can all be 10s forever. That's fine.
I don't know. I don't even know if Andre or Jamil's been giving them all 10s. But
all right. So next episode is Tolerance to Extinction Part 2 of this 3-part series, which comes out tomorrow, in which we see, for some reason, which is unclear in the trailer.
It's already tomorrow.
Oh, just true. Today, in which we see a bunch of the X-Men return to their old costumes, which is really cool.
Oh, can't wait.
I don't know why.
Brown. Oh.
It's very strange as to why, but I think it's pretty great.
Yeah.
Especially considering Storm
There's
already
going to
has
be
her
a
old costume.
very specific reason, though.
Of course there is. There's not going to not be a reason, but
no.
Like even
But they've
Rogue's got her old green costume too, which is.
But I like that they're kind of like slow rolling into it too. Like a couple of the characters have already done their costume changes.
But you also notice that there's a still from the episode of them all walking out, and Morph is wearing his costume from his Mimic, the costume he wears from not Mimic, that's a different character, but he's wearing the costume. It looks like the costume he wears in Exiles, which is really
cool. The blue cape.
Well, he doesn't have he has everything but the cape. He's got the yellow shoulder pads, the line down the thing, the blue.
Yeah.
We also see Forge wearing his X-Force costume, and we also see Cable in a version of the blue and yellow costume as well, which is fun. So I'm not sure why this is happening, but I think it's really neat. I also find it interesting that do you notice that when Forge was wearing his X Factor outfit before in the X Factor episode, did he have like the brown indigenous American boots on? With the fringes and stuff? I never noticed it before.
I never noticed that in the old
series. He does in
this.
this.
I don't think he did in the old series.
He does in this one, which is cool. So
I'm also not 100% sure we saw his feet in the old series.
Yeah, good point. It's funny when showing the old costumes because one of the stills from the trailer is like all of the costumes in a chamber, like it looks like they're all on display. Yeah. But it's really weird that like Storms is in there because like she just kind of made it in a couple episodes ago. So maybe I don't know. We'll probably connect to that somehow.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I'm very much looking forward to it. It looks like it's gonna be fun. I like that Ford just kind of joining the party. I figured he would since he was connected to Storm. So excited to see where this is all gonna go. It's gonna be some wild stuff. I do like the old Wolverine costume as well. Do you have what's your favorite Wolverine color scheme, Devin?
The one we're about to see.
The brown and the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Also, it looks like from the trailer, Trish Toby is still in a coma while still being robot person. So I feel like the robot people might not necessarily be dead. They might be redeemable of some form.
I hope we get an explanation for what MZ mentioned earlier, and we get an explanation why Rogue's been knocked out for so friggin' long.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we see Kelly reconnecting with Professor X. We also see Jubilee destroying DaCosta's card, so obviously there's been some fallout there.
What if Jean's keeping her sedated mentally?
Oh, you don't need to surmise. You're going to find out in a few short hours.
True. Yeah. All right. Well, you can support the show at patreon.com/X-Men Review Show or get sweet merch at redbubble.com/people/X-Men Review Show /shop because you guys you X-Goons out there can't expect Danbit, Ryan, Jamil, and MZ to float this boat forever.
The whole thing.
Come on.
We're going to need a substantial increase in your monthly donations. Danbit.
Yeah. No, Danbit's doing just fine.
I'm kidding. Thank you for your help. You're so good with us. I appreciate it.
Actually, we've been doing all right on the Redbubble lately.
Oh, Devin, I forgot one X point. It was important. Both the Blackbird and Gambit, both the Blackbird and Cyclops.
Pull yourself together, man.
I've been drinking all night. What are
you drinking?
Long Branch bourbon while drinking. So that much particularly. So both the Blackbird and the Porsche had ruby quartz lenses as their shield. I thought was really fun.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was just one small thing I meant to mention.
Nice.
I forgot.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. Keep talking about your stuff.
Well, you can contact us. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and to Twitches. Find our audio-only version wherever you get your podcasts. Please like, review, and subscribe. I'd still like to see some more reviews. That'd be nice. I'd like to hear.
That would be nice.
Think.
Come on, guys.
But, yeah. A proud member of the United Federation. And, tell Andre how wrong he is about my tens. Stuff like that. A proud member of the United Federation of Podcasts. Which
I could care less if anybody else disagrees, so that's fine.
It's true. Well, that's it. Let's get out of here.
Well, hold on. I got to promote my show.
Oh, right. Hold on.
Jesus Christ. No new
Not
episode.
bad.
No new
I
episode.
had
I got nothing to promote. I'm kidding. So my episode with Isabel Burke just came out on Monday. It was really cool. Very nice chat with her.
Great art too.
Yeah, beautiful art. Her stuff's amazing. And then my next episode drops on Monday with Jim Calafiore, who is illustrator for Marvel for many, many years. He worked on Peter David's Aquaman series and came to prominence to me with his work on Exiles, which I've just dusted off my shelf and plan on starting to read soon. So I'm very excited about that. He does some really cool work. And just a side note to the X-Goons out there, former guest of my other show, Mark Russell, is the new writer of X Factor coming out for Marvel Comics.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw the title card of X Factor.
Angel, yeah.
Didn't have the writer and artist on it.
Yeah, Greg Land does the art. The art's by Bob Quinn and the cover art's by Greg Land.
They brought Greg Land back again, eh?
For the cover. I don't necessarily love him. I don't dislike him.
I don't either.
But anyway, Mark Russell's such a great writer. His Flintstones comic, his Superman Space Age comic. I haven't read his Batman one yet, but I will get to it. Fantastic, brilliant, genius work. So I'm excited to watch him. To see
nice
him.
Guy, Greg Land. I met him and he signed.
Oh,
some
really?
books for me. But,
You should get him on my show. But
yeah, right. We just insulted his art, but sure.
I didn't insult him. I just said he wasn't necessarily my favorite.
It's all right. Like I would still like to get Grant Morrison on Andre's show, and I've said some things about Grant Morrison, but yeah.
Oh man, that would be a dream come true.
Amazing.
I'm working on some dreams. I'm working to fulfill your dreams.
I sent a message to Bob.
I got you
Layton.
the Roger Rabbit guy, didn't I?
You sure did. That was great. I messaged Bob Layton as well, but I haven't heard back.
Oh man, there you go. Original X Factor writer. There you go.
That's right.
Nice.
So Russell is really cool, and I'm really interested to see him reading like a mainstream superhero book. He hasn't really. All of his stuff's been kind of subversive, so to see him kind of in the Marvel world will be interesting.
That will be interesting, and
I'm sure it's going to be really, really good. Mark Russell's a fantastic writer. So check that out. Next episode with Jim Calafiore. Go read some Exiles, creator of Nocturne, the alternate universe version of.
Was that true? I missed that. Did the Vandy plates on the Porsche say Slim?
I believe that is true. I can't remember.
Oh, wow.
I think I made a note of that.
I missed that, Uncle Rizzo. First time I think we've heard from an Uncle Rizzo. Thanks for joining us, Uncle Rizzo.
Is that a reference to the Jerky Boys? And if so, I hope so.
I used to listen to those tapes. I think I had them all.
You know what? I'm a big fan of the movie. The movie from the 90s. Check it out. It's a fun movie.
I've seen it. I used to watch it a lot. It was on TMN a lot.
Me and my brother, I had a VHS. We used to watch it constantly, but he came over to visit like last year. We rented it on YouTube just because we couldn't find it anywhere to stream. And my wife had never seen it, didn't know anything about it, and she was laughing hysterically like the entire time. Yeah, his license plate said Slim with a 1 instead of an I, so SL1M.
Slick.
Nice.
Right. Well, let's get out of here now.
All right, let's go to bed.
Thanks for joining us, damn bitch. Sorry we yelled at each other so much.
It's okay, Mom, Dad. Everything is always fine with you guys. Don't worry about it.
I just want you to know, Dad. I just want you to know, son, that just because Mom and Dad fight sometimes doesn't mean we don't love you.
We still love you.
I know you guys. And thank you for having me. This was really fun, always.
Hey, congratulations, dude. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, man. I really think you're a superhero. Like legit.
Thank you.
You guys handle all that shit better than I ever would have. I'll tell you that.
Thank you guys. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. See you again soon.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Let's get out of here. Catch you next time.
Next time.
Next time I'll send memos.
And be sure to read them.